G'day, people. Welcome to the Inforunners. I'm Execute. It's going to sound a little weird this week because I lost my voice and it's extremely croaky. And for some reason, that's why we're a bit late, because I was trying to fix it. Just in the last couple of minutes, I was trying to fix how it sounds. It sounds really distorted because it's not used to me being so close to my microphone. And my voice is really a little bit all...
I just think your mic's being strangled. That's right. I'll just leave it at that.
Right.
Yeah.
You would.
So.
You've been entertaining all week long. You do not open yourself to attack like that, sir. Is the person in question in the room with you?
They are.
Yeah, I know they are.
I do have.
Nice change of subject. Nice change of subject there. Yeah.
No, vaguely. So we have this. we have the when Hurston bring out the big guns.
Yep. Did they like the shirt, by the way? Did we get any feedback on the shirt? I know you and I weren't there, but
well, hang on. Signed by Chris on this side, and the lovable Sandy on the other side.
Yep.
And I think the number of kisses from Sandy say how much they like the shirt.
Yeah, good.
The other thing is, I'm sorry, this shirt's been claimed. I've got to guard it with my life before it disappears in a pack.
Oh wow! Well, I can get you another one if you want.
So the request has been
put forward. Yeah, I'll get you another one. I can do that. Yep.
So apparently it's liked. I'll just leave it at that.
Oh man, I'm always really tempted to get another one made just for this person now. I like this person a lot. Yeah. Okay, well, I've been like, who else you have to look? I can say it now.
So anyway, so we've got those.
Yep.
That one we will probably raffle. This one we'll raffle off with the signatures at some point. To fund something that we're doing at Inforunners. I also did get the very limited edition of a Crux Cup t-shirt.
Beware of the sound, Algared. That is awful, by the way. When you move that
apologies.
back,
it won't happen again. So we've got the Crux Cup t-shirt with the wonderful scout on it. Again, signed by Chris and Sandy. And this one we will raffle off at some point.
They've actually worn that shirt at on episodes way back when, didn't they?
Sandy has worn a version of this shirt on episodes. There are only, I think, 50 of those shirts in existence. So that one is a real, just like the other one. I think there's only the other version was the only version in existence.
That is the only version of that shirt in existence. It's a one-off.
So both of those shirts are quite rare. So we will raffle those off at some point and use them for fundraising. So the Crux Cup one we'll use, when we raffle it off, we'll use it to help fund prizes for the Crux Cup.
Is Crux Cup this weekend? It is this weekend, isn't it?
It is very close, yes.
What do you mean very close? It is this weekend or is it next weekend? When is it?
I have to double check because I always lose the dates and at the moment I am otherwise entertained to go back to your...
I was going to say, as one of the head organisers of this thing, you should know the bloody days. This is pretty shocking. Anyway.
I'm just a PR man. I just make the law and spruik it. And, I'm not a racer. I'm not much good at other stuff. Now, we were looking at doing our giveaway, weren't we?
We do have to do the giveaway for the Aurora.
No, we've got a problem, don't we?
There was only 8 people that were public subscribers. So
publicly subscribed.
There's not a lot of people that are in it to win it. So we'll
and I know there was a whole pile of comments.
Yeah.
And so
but they weren't publicly subscribed, so I can't.
But you're not publicly subscribed, so we can't. So
normally I don't do a wheel of names, right? But I just copied the 8 people's names out into the wheel. That's it. That's all the people that are in it right now. So I'll let it run to the end of the show, or towards the end of the show, and we'll see if we can get a few more people's names.
See if we can add some more names to the wheel, or get to the point where we don't run the wheel because there's so many names. But if you did leave a comment, you really want to go back to that video and double check that you are publicly subscribed. Otherwise, you forfeit your chance. So
there's a couple of things I want to kind of go over that are public news. I think the first one I'll go over. Give me a second. I did not bring this up in advance, so it's going to take me 5 seconds to get to it. The house. Yep, you heard it. Is this? They actually do show off the whole bee in this video quite a few times, even though it's decorated up. So this mechanic here of this rotating, I actually think this is intentional. I think the final version will do this. And if you'll notice the kind of hinges here, I think what's happening is you've got 2 decks and they're going to kind of like compress towards each other. So on both sides, and then one's going to go underneath and one's going to go above. And that would also explain the width of the new whole bee. And then obviously when they get out to the sides, they just rotate so you can load and unload the cargo.
So they rotate side on, so you're loading.
Yeah. So the whole thing about it flying in an X is bullshit. Because Ben, if you remember, when Ben talked about it back like October or whenever it was, he literally said it will fly in an X. He was full of shit.
Look, he may have been. It may have also been, at that time, that's the way they were looking, and as they've developed and worked on the update, things change. Because we know that, you know from game design yourself, that best laid plans, you say where you want to go or where you think you're going, and then down the track you end up being totally different to where you're going. But I think you're right. Like you see, even in that snippet of a whole bee, you've got that idea.
See, there's this weird thing where the arms are going up and down too.
Yeah. Ignore
the antenna bullshit. Like you can work around the bullshit and you can actually see that there is a ship here, right?
Yeah.
The landing gear has I think they deliberately left it as wasp-like legs because the original whole bee had that wasp-like look. If you obviously remember.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And I think they chucked in a couple extra on there for this video just to give it 6 legs, just to.
I agree. I reckon it's probably more likely only got 4. Yep, I agree with you on that.
So it's very bee-like.
So just ignore the wings flapping, and you can actually see quite a bit. You know, like you can see how the ship's going to work. Yeah. You can see there that,
and you can see that underneath it is hollow. So
it's still going to close. It's still going to close around it. I think that's just how it folds up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think it's going to be a cool little ship. We also got. I'm gonna have to find. No, don't tell me I've lost it. I lost it. I think I lost it. Oh no, here it is. So someone took. This was a clip further on in the video where they removed all the bullshit, and you can kind of see how it stacks up there, and then it would fold and close. So that kind of works. And then obviously, those of you that follow Leaks also had the skin thumbnail. Which I think also kind of confirms that this is definitely a whole bee. She's definitely a swollen bee. But Algared, they went on and did some silliness in that episode. Tell us something, because you actually had a couple of really good ideas that I think were really obvious that they missed.
The video. And I thought, man, whole bee going for a variant, and I'm thinking, where's the Q? We've always known there's a Q variant, but Q, where's the queen bee? And I thought, where's the H, the hive? And, obvious silly variants to play around with. And, of course, they just weren't there. So, clearly my sense of humour, I appreciated the humour, but I was aghast. But what seemed the obvious ones at a time with the whole bee just weren't there. So, yeah.
So, realistically, we've got this only week to go and we'll be able to talk about this. I think it's going to be a good little mover. Good time to kind of come into the game with where Cargo's standing. It's going to be one of, you tell me if you think I'm wrong on this, right? I think it's going to be one of those ships that swing or miss for people. Either they're really going to like where it lands because they're a cargo person, or it's going to completely miss because cargo's just not their thing.
Well, the key thing that
I
picked up from the video
was
when John Crew was talking about the hull A introduced you to cargo running, but it couldn't take the larger containers containers. So I wouldn't be surprised if a hull B can take the 32s. That's my guess. And it's just taking it from that comment from John Carew in the video.
I agree with you 100%. I even said so when you and I talked about it. I said they really need to make this thing take 32 SU cargo containers. How do we make that work? And I went through it with Grim. I went through it with you. Multiple people are mentioning the sneak peek. I don't have the email, so can someone please forward it to me on Discord? I would appreciate it greatly. Thank you very much. Right, keep going, Aaron.
Yeah. So I do think we'll see this is able to take some 32 SU containers. It won't take a mass, but it will take some. And you could even looking at the cargo capacity of the hull B and then break that down, and that'll probably tell you how many 32s it can take. I haven't done that at this point in time. We
have to check with the Oracle. They've entered the chat. Robert JT, how much cargo is this thing going to have? You see to the future on a regular basis. We have to rely on your knowledge. Oracle.
512.
512.
I know that's socially confused.
1632. Yeah, that makes sense to me. That's about what I predicted around that. So I think you guys are on point. But yeah, it looks like it's been, I don't know, do you guys agree? It looks like it's kind of been refactored a little bit for 32 SU cargo containers, which the A obviously doesn't do. But the B, I think you can do 16s on the A, but you can't do 32s.
Yeah.
Thank you, Spike. Appreciate it. Oh, you along with like 5 other people. But yeah, thank you. God, I got so many messages.
Could you cope with it taking less than 1632s? Yeah, look, if they decided to rejig it and do that, yeah. But based on the cargo capacity they've said it's got, you'd expect it to be able to take the regular amount.
All right, here's a better one. There we go. Sorry, yours was too small, Spike. The one you sent me was too small. Right, well, that's clearly the landing gear. But that doesn't look wasp-like. It looks different again. The other thing, the first thing that comes out to me, Algared, is that's new kit. And it's now got branding on it.
Yeah.
Sorry. You know what you know what this does for my speculation that I talked to you about on the show, right?
Yeah. Because I look at that, my first thought was, that reminds me of Freelancer landing gear.
Someone's been working on Miss Kid. You son of a bitch. Well, I still think they're going to do both eventually. It's a given. It has to be done. Sorry, me and Algared are talking code for a reason, but we'll go through that when we get
there'll be an episode in the next few days.
Well, we'll talk about it a little bit on the monthly report too. I think it's really obvious when you read the monthly report.
Indeed.
But yeah, that's some very nice landing gear. I can actually see that it looks like it's got 5 legs, 3 at the front, 2 at the back.
Yep.
Well,
So it does look like there's a second pair behind that first set. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm so happy that we're getting more and more labeling. Like that was one of the things that, like, I think the Aurora was the first that had kind of hit that Mark II, by the way. It hit for me that's the level, the bare minimum I expect things to be at.
That's a standard, isn't it?
Yeah, if it's above that, I'm a happy man. You know. So yeah. I just kind of want to see that more going forward, like the labeling. It sounds like this not needed bullshit, but it's a quality of life thing, and there's night and day difference. Like, you just tell as soon as you're repairing stuff, like you get up on top of that and you run around looking for an exact component in a firefight. You don't want to be wasting time opening every single one.
Yeah, unless you got the schematics of a ship and you know the ship inside out. Yeah.
Which will happen.
That would be a good thing in terms of people who know their ships will be able to repair and equip and all that stuff a lot quicker. But yeah, labeling is just helpful for the news.
Okay, there's a bit of news I didn't see. Where was that mentioned, Rabbit?
Yeah, I saw that one too. So he says in the leaks, sorry, there was a mention of a MISC Starlight.
It lends credence because that's why I'm seeing extra kit. That's what I hadn't seen any extra MISC kit up until today.
I read it a couple of days ago.
On Reddit. Well, again, there's nothing on the leak, so I just had a quick look.
Yep.
Morning, lads. Always nice to catch you live. Thank you, Ben, Hannah, NZ, with the 20-cent donation from New Zealand. Appreciate it.
Their dollar's not that bad against us.
I'm just saying, he knows I'm teasing. Just giving him shit. I know. I feel sorry for them, man. Like, they pay extra for shit for no reason. Like, the same reason we do, but they just get it even worse.
Yeah.
I believe it was Dynamite. I cannot find anything on a Starlight, but that does sound like a name that they would use.
It does. And, you know, if I look at the Starfarer, the Starfarer really does not need the massive cavernous cargo hold that it's got. And
the problem
is the reason it's got that was the original.
We're now in territory about episodes I wanted to do. So I firmly believe if you look, I'll go through the light strokes of what me and Algared were going to do for an episode, right? So if you go for, I had 2 episode ideas. One was on refueling and refining, because I'm pretty sure that's coming.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to put a roadmap up here. Right. And so when 4.7 dropped the day of, they dropped cards for 4.8. Right. And in these cards were some pretty big tells. First one is here, implementing refueling and docking improvements, simplifying the refueling process to simplify the delivery, updating, clicking to support requests, automating docking and closure range, alongside impact itemization and capacity. Right. So that's the first part. But the second part is missions and events, which is refueling missions, implementing refueling missions centered on servicing NPC ships. But this is where it gets interesting. Players will also be able to request refueling via a beacon. How the hell are they going to do that? They're not going to send out an entire Starfarer, right?
Yep,
and I need to find that thing, Algared. You know, the God damn it, where is it? You did send it to me, and I forgot which one it was. Was it this one? It was this one, right? So when they did the golem, you can go down here, and there's a couple of variants that look really interesting for a refueler. And if you think about the golem's mining arm, you literally just rotate that, and it goes. I've actually done it in a thing. It goes completely backwards, and it goes right between the 2 little engine things. And that's why we were talking last week about the yak with you guys, calling it the yak. So you can literally just flip this arm and it kind of goes to the back, or a different arm, but you get the point, right? And that is better because you've only got to refuel 1 ship. You're not doing a whole bunch of ships. So something small like this would work really, really well.
Yeah.
It's funny you mentioned that, Spike. Or socially confused, sorry, not Spike. Because I have that queued up as well. You son of a bitch. Yep. Yes, when Gavin Rothery
which is another thing that we were talking about.
When Gavin Rothery, did the concept for the raft, this is clearly not the raft. This has got multiple canisters on it, as you can see. So either this is a refine. I think it's a refinery personally. And again, after you get refueling is very close to refining, and we clearly need refining to get to base building, because you got crafting now, you got the bareness, and you can kind of put up with the bullshit of stations, but we need refining. It's sorely needed, right? Especially because of the quality of the materials. You can't get them high enough. How do you get them high enough? Refining. So I think there's at least a ship of this size is required. We've got the Expanse, we've got the Starfarer, but every time there's a new gameplay, they bring in a new ship.
Yep.
Now, we need to think of a stupid acronym that starts with R and A. Good luck. If it was the raft, what do they call this? The rack.
Who knows? Who knows?
That's Algared's favorite entertainment device.
No, I think that's your favorite entertainment device.
Every time. Right. The rat. No. Oh. What does that stand for? Apples? Anyway, someone will come up.
No, it just sounded cool.
Someone at the writing team will come up with an inappropriate, crappy name like they did with the moth. Should have been called the crab. Sorry. David Haddock, fight me. I will die on that hill, because that is the shittiest. What's moth got to sprinkling its dust everywhere? Dirty bullshit. I don't get it. It made salvage sound like
I'm surprised with the
made salvage sound like a dirty thing.
Just to go back to that whole bee video, I'm also surprised they didn't have a whole bee transform into some car. You know, because they were using the bumblebee.
Yeah, that would have been cool. Would have gone back to his Voltron and Transformer jokes from previous shows.
And whole bee, and they did call it a bumblebee. You know, so as their inspiration. So you know, it would have worked. But you know, my humor is as bad as disco's at times. So the first,
so Pissball Pete, to stay in line with what they did with the moth and the mole, first two letters have to be the same.
Mm-hmm.
Will they keep consistency? No, they fucking won't. You know they won't. You know they won't.
That's the one thing that never changes.
Yeah, how inconsistent they are. So yeah, but the Rift is a cool name. I'll give you that. It's a cool name, but it's got to be RA. The raft.
The rack.
Yeah, I like the rack. That's kind of interesting, but I don't know. I'd have to have a think about what's refine. I don't know. Have a think about that, guys, and see if you can come up with a rate. The rate. I don't know. It's going to be hard. The ramp. I've heard a few interesting names, but you see what I mean? Like, if they lock themselves into their own conventions now, the names will become shit. And this is why I don't like, again, race. Yeah, again, you look up 4-letter words starting with RA, you'll come up with something pretty cool, I'm sure. The rake, that's not bad. Because they'll step on it and hit himself in the face. Yep, I like that one. We'll see. Rig. Ooh, that's a good one. I like that. Yeah, that's a good one. The rig. Oof.
It didn't need a G, a second G or something like that.
Yeah, RIGG. But yeah, I like that one. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, I like that a lot. And it doesn't follow the convention, but that's why it's a good name.
Yep.
So yeah.
I do like that.
Why are you calling it the misc? It's a fucking Argo. What is wrong with you people?
Yeah.
Radium and Amber. Where are the misc names coming from? Yeah, oil rig. Yeah, rig like an oil rig. Yeah, I get it. We got it, Reebok. It worked, bro. Yeah. It worked. You didn't have to explain it. That's why it was good.
All right, it's putting a double G in.
Yeah. RIGG.
We got it with an oil rig, but it was just a need for that double G.
Oh yeah, the leak was misc. I agreed. But this thing too. Again, I've got to see this leak. I've got no evidence of it. So if someone could send me a picture or something, that'd be great.
It would be nice to see the leak if it was an actual leak.
Oh yeah. But this is a thing. So I would say, again, what if one of them's a refinery and one of them's a refueler? The same.
Oh, it makes perfect sense to me. Now, you do need to start the bot.
Yeah, thanks.
Just so any questions that have been coming through will be picked up and dragged in so we can actually talk about them when we run out of our verbiage and
or my voice, the way things are going.
Yeah, and your voice, yeah.
All right, she's up. So, she's running. Questions should start coming in.
So any questions you've got should be picked up, but if if you're concerned,
right?
Again, no, here they come.
They're coming in.
All the questions are now coming in. So if you had a question or had a word or had made a comment with a word question, and it is now in our bot, so and we'll reach that at some point and go through them.
All right. So monthly report. Let's go through that because that's kind of the last thing I've got. We don't really need to go through everything. We're just going to go through the ships because that's where the meat and potatoes are. The Raelian. I think I'm really excited about this because I really want to see more internals of the Zion ships. And I think this is the first time we're actually going to see Zion proper.
Yeah, I think that's the internals of the Raelian being a bigger ship with that type of stuff really does say that's probably the next big thing that we'll get. So, yeah.
There's a little throwaway line there of the Grey Cat UTV wrapped up. its testing and is waiting PTU release. And they hope we enjoy it as much as they did making it. I am really looking forward to that one. Actually, I've been for a while. Yeah.
Look, I could imagine players will have a great time with that just because we had heaps of fun with the PTV.
Yeah.
When it was out, when it was first in the hangar, we had heaps of fun with it. But I'm sure you remember when it was first introduced to Area 18, and the mayhem that went on with that. And so I fully expect that small little vehicle will be much loved and much maligned or mistreated.
It's kind of like what the Nurse is to the medium size of vehicles. That's why I'm really interested in it. I think it is going to be. It's the good baseline. It's all terrain, kind of like the Dragonfly as well, which is the better of the bikes. So I've been waiting for the all rounder of vehicles, and it just hasn't turned up. And I think this is it. All terrain. It looks like it might carry one SCU, and it can take 2 people. So that's a great little vehicle.
And when we're doing bases, moving cargo from areas to area will be useful. I know they've talked about cargo areas being interlinked, but there'll still be that time where you actually want to physically move something from A to B, whether you're raiding someone or finding something unique. But
also all those little starter ships that you can only fit a small little vehicle in. That'll be the ship that they want.
Now, Robert JT, you say, sadly, wheeled vehicles are in a terrible use. Yes, they are at present.
Yeah.
But we know CIG is constantly working on refining and enhancing that. We know they want NPCs to be able to drive those vehicles all over the place, which means terrain will be fixed, mapping will be fixed, there'll be roads and other things, and that's going to help with our wheeled vehicles and other stuff. So there
is going to be like a Battlefield-like ground vehicle combat experience. It's going to be really it's going to be. And then think about when bases come online, attacking other people's bases and all that shit. Like, we're in for a really cool future when things are working, right? And obviously, we're talking when, not tomorrow.
We're not talking now. We're talking when it's done. And that's one of the things you've always got to look at, isn't it? It's not. We often fall into a trap of looking at what we've got and looking at it now. And you've got to try and go, okay, where does this go and what's the plan for the future? And that's often the hard thing to do, to look at where they're going and where this fits into the picture in the long run.
Another piece in the jigsaw puzzle. Yeah.
And it's that type of thing, though, that really can give you that wow moment and give you those wow moments. So,
Just before we go on, I want to go back to the Raelian if we can. One of the things you and I talked about was how this thing was going to load and unload. And I just want to talk about that a little bit again because I think it's worth mentioning because I want to know if we're right. We talked about this. So one of the things me and Algared are suspecting is when you have a new the newer ships now, they have where the ramp goes, it kind of has that hologram that hits the ground. We're expecting some kind of hologram that shows you where the cargo pods are going to go on the ground. So you land, click a button, and all the pods kind of deploy down. You fill the pods up with all your shit, press the button, and they go back up. That's kind of what we're suspecting. Would you, not to put words in your mouth, Algared, but that's the long and short of it?
It's certainly where we've speculated in terms of where we're going. And it's trying to... It's us looking at what they've said Geontech does. Geontech does a lot of that elevating and flotation stuff. So you look at the stairs on some of the mixed ships which are using the Geontech, and you've got that kind of setup. So it's trying to pick that up and then apply it to
in-game technologies we already have.
In-game technologies we've already got, and then everything else. And so it makes sense. Is it the way we're going to know? Or maybe not. But you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's not for certain, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
They obviously can add some cool little things like animations and stuff like that, and Zionify it a little bit. But yeah, I think the Raelian is going to hit different as well, because we've got all these cargo ships, but an alien cargo ship, we do not.
Yeah.
So there's other little things like, are they going to do tractor beams a little differently? How is the box system going to work? What's it going to like to navigate this ship? I really want to see a lot more interior of the Cyan. Like, you can tell that they're incredibly detailed. They've got the rock thing going as well. And it's somewhere between rocky elemental and Chinese Ming vase type of analogy. You can see where they're going. High end type of, but old high end. Do you know what I mean? Like ancient relic is the word I would kind of use.
Yeah, and the other thing with the Xi'an ships that this one really stands out as being, and it really shows, as you said, it really shows us that Xi'an motive in the way, because this ship, when it was first concepted, had Xi'an showers as well as human showers. It had Xi'an beds as well as human beds. It had Xi'an food processing or supplies as well as a human-style kitchen. And so it was the first ship we saw with that real cross-cultural type of thing to let you know, yeah, you're in an alien ship. This ship is weird, and I'd like to hope when the BMM comes out, and we've seen snippets of that as well, but we'd see that same type of either synergy or parallel thing with the Banu.
Yeah, because previously they've tried to make things adaptable. So, for example, both the alien races essentially have hover chairs, so they can just adjust to the height of whatever character there are. But how do you do that with a bed? Do you make it so the bed can move and animate? Same thing with the toilet. Yeah. Stuff like that. So I'd be really interested to see if they found a new way to approach that. Because doubling up is going to be a pain in the ass. If you've got to have essentially 2 toilets on every single ship to accommodate that, it's a bit of a pain in the ass. So I'd like to see if they've found a better way to approach that. We'll see. It's going to be interesting Alien Week. The other thing that me and Algared heard this week was me and Algared are going to be busier than usual for Fleet Week, was what I heard from someone from CIG. So I am now worried that we're going to be, our asses are going to be worked up. So we'll have to see what's happening. So we'll take that as we come.
I'll also say to our first-time chatters on Twitch, Bezel Bubba, and also scroll down a little bit further, Long Waller Crawler. Both you guys, welcome to the channel. Glad you're here.
Yep.
If you do have a question, make sure you write the question with question in it, and our bot will pick it up, and we'll deal with those questions at some point later in the show.
Yeah.
I'll also say it again for those people who have joined us who did try to go into our giveaway for our
I need to open,
Aurora.
I need to open that. Hold on. I don't have it open.
That one of the conditions of entry is being publicly subscribed to our YouTube channel. And what you had to do is you had to go into our video from last week and leave a comment and be publicly subscribed. We had lots of comments, but only 8 people were publicly subscribed.
So these are all the comments. And if I change it to, where is it here? Sort by, no, wrong one. I never remember which one I got to click. Shit. It's not working. Oh, there we go. Publicly subscribers. Bang. Oh, there's a few more. There was 8.
That's amazing how an announcement at the beginning of the show does.
Oh, wow. There's a few more on there now.
But it's nice to see that that works.
Might not be able to do a wheel of names now. I did have 8 people on the wheel, but
the wheel of names probably won't work because there'll be so many of you.
Yeah. I'll probably we'll see what happens. What was I up to? I was up to That's an Insult, but yeah, I might have to do it all again. Oh yeah, this is like 3 times as many already. So yeah. So, yeah, but that's how I've been doing it. And usually I just go into I count, because what I can do is I can just tick this box. It tells me the 61. It went from 8 to 61. Holy shit. Right. And then I would literally just roll a dice in Google. It gives me the number and I just count down and find that person and go, you won. That's how I've been doing it, because it was the only way I could work through the system without all that bullshit. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, it's nice to know. But, for those people who hadn't publicly subscribed, glad to see you have now publicly subscribed and are able to go in that draw.
Right.
But yeah, so
the Ironclad, holy shitballs, man. The cutter and clipper style brought up to a bigger ship. They are clearly reworking every kit. Every kit is getting a buff and polish pass. So I reckon we're going to see this on Aegis. I think we're going to see this on Argo. I think they're all getting it. But you look at that image, if I open it as a big one, you can clearly tell it's a lot more like the cutter and the clipper. Also, you'll notice the font of Ironclad is exactly the same as the font on clipper. So this, I think, is now Drake font.
Yeah, it certainly got that precedence of being a Drake font, doesn't it?
I went through this with Grim and he pointed some cool things out. Like, see this window here? It doesn't exist previously, but it almost looks like there's a door that pops up and closes like almost like an armored window. So some cool things like that. Lots of little extra lights like we've seen on the Vulture and a few of the other ships and stuff like that weren't there previously either. So I am really keen for this thing. So we'll see what happens there in regards to that one. There's not much more we can say about that, really, is there? It's an Ironclad. No, it looks awesome.
It's an Ironclad. It's going to be big, even though it's not as big as some. So
before we talk about the next one, I do want to go through and talk about this one. This is Kraken landing gear, Algared.
Yes. It's bloody huge.
I think there's a couple of parts to this. I think obviously the Kraken is more than likely not coming to this time next year, right? But I think they've worked on the outside before the inside because there's a couple of benefits. We've seen them do this with other ships where you can fly around and make it an enemy ship.
Yep.
You could, for example, you could have ships spawn on the deck of this thing and fly off and attack you. So there's from gameplay reasons, there's a couple of advantages to doing the outside first. Secondly, obviously, you could use it as a thing to show off at Fleet Week or Invictus. And I was in the tech preview yesterday, and there were signs that pointed me towards where the interest was at the top of the tower. So, don't know if that's a misdirect, but I got a feeling with how polished that thing is, we might be seeing this thing at Fleet Week.
It's just sitting on the tower and enabling you to walk the decks.
Yeah.
Maybe not enter inside, but then there's also, if you look at that, when they're talking about the Kraken, there was several key hero rooms had been worked on. And so, the team then concentrated their efforts on the main hero rooms. And so you could see possibly just like the when we had the tours to the Destroyer.
Also, you'll notice that the Drake Defense Con is for the entirety of the event. This is a Drake Invictus, essentially. 14th, that's 2 weeks. 14th to the 27th is 2 weeks. That's some long-ass sale. So they're expecting to sell a lot of ships. And they've probably got more ships than this than they've ever had before. And that's tracking with what I'm hearing in the background. Like I said, they've told me you and I are going to be busy.
Yes, yes.
So, yeah.
Pulling Drake into Invictus.
2 weeks no sleep, though. I'm not looking forward to that very much, but okay.
And pulling Drake into Invictus does not seem as offensive and nasty as it has been. Because over the last few years, Drake have been trying to, work their way into Invictus and being snubbed. But they often got snubbed because they were the bad boys on the block. They were the crappy, useless, can't punch your way out of a paper bag type defense stuff. But they're no longer. That's no longer who they are. We've got the grey ships.
Could it be that
are the horrible, nasty, yucky stuff?
Could it be really funny? And like Invictus is only a week long because it's called Fleet Week. And DefenseCon goes either side of it. That'd be really funny. It's like Jake's just like, fuck it, we'll do 2 weeks, you do a week. We'll just go either side. Totally smother you.
Well, you've got to remember that the Fleet Week, the idea of Fleet Week is not necessarily the sales, and it's the idea of all the recruits going to join them, go to their fleet. go to their fleet pickup and get taken off to the training camps. And it's a big celebration and goodbye and all the rest of that's the lore aspect of Fleet Week. The practical application is, hey, it's a chance for companies to show off, the in-game companies to show off their military ships and say how awesome they are. So Fleet Week is very important. It's not just a sale. It's the recruitment drive of the military. So Drake doing either side, yeah, I could see them doing something evil like that. But I wonder whether Drake are now being drawn into the fold because they're no longer that mean, nasty, crappy, useless piratey ship. That seems to be feeling more to the Greys rather than Drake now. So it seems to have been a shift. Now, is that true? I don't know, but it just
feels that way.
It feels that way.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it's going to be really interesting because the rate that ships are coming out is really like almost every 2 weeks at the moment.
Yeah.
I think Aaron and I will go into more detail on some of the other ships. There are others, but I think I'll leave them for now. But the last thing we'll go over in the monthly report is 5 unannounced vehicles also progressed through March. Now, if you read through this further, essentially 4 of them are at exactly the same state. Right? And my brain cannot get away from these. I think we are getting a Connie rework. And the other reason why I think that is in the monthly report, it mentions where was it? I'm trying to find this exact line. This turns out to be quite complex in terms of animation states, but the end result will be worth it. Now, if what I'm suspecting is to be true, I'm expecting a Polaris-like Connie, and the nacelles kind of fold down like wings did on the Aurora and the Scorpius, but then they break off and kind of go straight, making it look more like the traditional Connie. That's what I'm suspecting. And if it's anything like what I've got in my head, and if you can put it in your head, that is going to make a lot of money. Like a lot of money. You simply convert the hangar bay on the back of the Polaris to be like a landing pad, so almost any snub can land there. You make it so instead of the 2 giant ramps, you just have a belly lift that comes down. It has 3 landing gear like a traditional Polaris, so therefore it doesn't have any of the weird landing problems the old Connie had. You can still put a turret on the top and the bottom, or near the head. It does everything the old one used to do, but the RSI kit is all way in front of everything else. We also saw Chris Smith on ISC for the first time in it has to be over 5 years at this point. And if he's doing the Aurora, he's also doing the Connie. And then
he did work on the Connie at one point. So
yeah. And as I said, when we looked at the sneak peek, which is, I've lost the sneak peek, wherever it was, I've lost it. Misk is the only other really ship in the starting lineup that needs that love.
Yep.
And I believe the Freelancer is in a much better state than the Connie has ever been in. And I do think they will go back and do the Freelancer as well. I just don't think it's as dire as the Connie is. And I don't know about you, but if you take what the Aurora was and go to the Mustang and now do the same type of thing to a Connie, holy shit, man, that is going to make a lot of money.
Well, it's interesting because as I'm reading that, I also look at the Galaxy work. Members have gone back to the Galaxy. But the other thing that's drawing in that they're tweaking the layout. Why? To make use of the ever-growing RSI library, but they're also, they're continuing to build that out. So you've got this RSI library that's being fleshed out. It's working on the on the Galaxy, but it's also going to work in other RSI ships as well. And so, yeah.
And RSI is that core manufacturer of the entire game. I just want to address what a couple of people are saying in chat, why they think it could be other ships. You need to think of two things. The most popular ships in the game and what normies are going to be attracted to. And then also take the line that John Cruz said about the Connie. It's got the man's name on it, right? So it's literally Chris's name, and it's Chris's favorite ship. They are getting their ducks in the row for Squadron 42 coming out. So the normies, when they come along, there just isn't any bad ships. They're trying to get rid of the more dilapidated ships, and I think most of you would agree the older a ship is, the more dilapidated it is. Now, the Freelancer is functional. It lands, it does all the gameplay it needs to do, but you're right, it's not in the best state, and it definitely would be easy to do. I give you all that, but does it need as much as the Connie? And I think the Connie needs it more. Anyway, sorry, Algared.
Hello, Jets.
Yep. No, look, and one of the reasons I also think the Connie is one of Chris's favorite ships is if you watch the video of a film, Wing Commander, Paladin's ship looks very much like a kind of Connie-esque version. Now, whether that you that's one of the things I saw when I first saw a Connie. I thought, oh, that's from Wing Commander, the movie, or very similar to the Wing Commander movie. Maybe I'm the only one who saw it, but I do think it's got that lineage there as well. But it's a ship, but I think the whole line, anything RSI has got Chris's name on it, and so they're going to make sure it's good. But
I don't disagree with what people said in chat. Like the ships that were mentioned needed as well. Like the Reliant needs it, the Freelancer needs it, but it's a pecking order. And if you look at it in a pecking order, I'd probably say from the three that I mentioned, it probably goes Connie, Reliant, Freelancer. In that order. Anyway, Grim, how are you? Oh wait, there's a membership there from Dragon Talon. Thank you for the membership. Appreciate it. Grim, how are you, mate?
So I'm well. How are you guys?
Sounding better. Getting there slowly.
Your voice sounds better. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't sound like I'd swallowed a buzzsaw like yesterday.
He's feeling like it's going to disappear at some point, in which case it'll become the Algared show. So yeah.
He sounded rough the other day.
Yeah, he got me to come on. I don't think he realized I'd lost my voice. That was pretty bad. Yeah. Anyway, what do you make of the monthly report? Me and you went through it yesterday, obviously, Grim, but we're basically talking about these. There's clearly 5 unannounced ships, but 4 of them are all at Lot Zero. Tells me they're the same ship, but they're variants. Now, there's only a couple of ships like that in the game, and I just can't get away from the Connies.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think you're on the right thinking there, because I do think it would be awfully strange for a new ship to come out that consists of 4 variants. What seems more likely, and honestly, I don't even see any Mark IIs going that route as well. I think the Aurora Mark II is a sign of where they're going to go with Mark IIs, where it's more modular and stuff, to cut down on the amount of work that needs to be done. To me, it says that an existing ship is getting a glow up, and some of those old ones need a glow up so much that it's kind of like they're taking a lot of steps back in their pipeline, so they would obviously go through Lot Zero phases and stuff. I would say there's 3 ships that fall into that category that are all old. Obviously, the Constellation series, which you mentioned, makes a lot of sense. Freelance, obviously, Freelancer as well. There's 4 variants of that. And then the other big one is the Mustang, which, is, I don't know how many variants of the Mustang there are, but obviously the Mustang was removed from the store page, so it's likely as well.
Technically, there are 5, but really 4.
Oh, there are 5. Okay, yeah.
Because there's the Gamma and the Omega, which is...
Right, and I wonder with that... We've seen some changes to on some of the existing ships with how liveries are done versus the actual variants. So I'm wondering if, for example, if it is a Mustang reworks, I'm wondering if maybe one of those quote unquote variants is now just a paint, a livery that can be switched out with an existing model, and maybe they're just getting a glow up.
You were right. I am now. Yeah, I think you're right. I think I was wrong. I think you're right. I think it is the Mustang.
And the only reason, and I told you this, Execute, and I could absolutely be wrong. I have no information on this whatsoever.
No, but
the
it's
only
the
reason
other.
I
It's the other stuff I
think
shared
it's
with
not
you.
the constellation.
It's the other stuff I shared with you yesterday.
Yeah.
Because there's an event on the 25th of April, which is exactly 2 weeks after the whole B would come out.
Yeah, exactly.
That AMD are doing with CIG. The Mustang got removed from the store the day the Aurora dropped. And the last part was there's a Wikipedia entry for AMD that was updated that mentioned them working with it with certain manufacturers. And this all happened within the space of like a week. And again, Algared's right. The Gamma and the Mustang, Omega, sorry, are the same, essentially the same variant now. But I do think they could split them apart like they're meant to be by just adding a different component that the Omega has that the Gamma can't get access to.
Yeah, and if I do a similar thing like they've done with the Aurora, giving it a bit of modularity, then that gives you the ability to do that. So
I just want to point out real quick, you need to ignore this one because this is the same thing. It's a Vindicator, it's a skin variant, so there is really just 4 variants there. Just want to point that out for those that are wondering.
And not that they couldn't make, like, for example, if even 2 of those turned into paints, they could, maybe there's a new variant coming. But I would say that, in addition to that level up thing, it makes the most sense for the Mustangs to be it. The other reason I don't think it is the Connies yet, and I do think the Connies will get this, don't get me wrong. The only reason I don't think it is yet is because the Connie is one of those ships that is really close to a lot of people's hearts, and I feel like when CIG does it, we're going to get a lot of hints and teases and sneak peek images and stuff hinting towards it, because there's going to be people that whatever CIG does don't like the changes, and I think they're going to want to be a little bit kind of vocal about what they're doing with the Connies.
Softly. Take a softly approach rather than
Fuck
here
them.
it is,
Fuck them. Gameplay and function overall.
Hey, AMD is streaming right now on Twitch. Let's just go over and ask them. Are you having a question?
Why not?
Actually, but it makes a lot of sense. Now you've mentioned it. So I've just misdirected my lineup, but you're right. If you look at this makes a lot more sense. 5 coming. Oh, sorry, 4 coming. 4. I'm on board. I'm on the Mustang train now. Bang. Yeah.
Now, having said you're changing your view, which you are, I do have to point out that in the points and the notes that I've got that we're going to talk about was the Mustang rework, was the April 25th show, was the AMD thing, was
Grim just came in and
was all of that stuff. But
me and Grim did talk about this yesterday, so he's had time to stew on it, right? So he's taken on board what I've said, brought it back to me, and gone, hey, you need to look at it this way. So that's just the way these discussions go. They go backwards and forwards, and you toss the ball a bit, and we change each other's mind. That's what's. And
we've said before. We've said before too. It's the great thing about running this. I mean, and even off stream, there's constantly like backdoor discussions going on with people on Discord and stuff. Me and Execute talk a lot about some of this, and you check each other all the time.
I don't think me and Grim go 3 days without a message. Let's just put it that way.
The hardest thing with all the discussions we often do and the backdoor stuff and all the rest of it is the fact that sometimes we forget where we've talked about it, and so we'll talk about it on a stream and as if it's something that we've talked about previously and everyone knows, and it's something we've just talked about in a small group. And
there's another thing about that PU monthly report mentioned there where they say 5 unannounced vehicles, blah blah, and then they say, what was it? I forget which ones it was, but there was one, for example, where they talked about it was on track for Lot Zero review, and it said that it had started initially as a simple idea and turned into something more complex and stuff. Again, going back to that thing, I was thinking like, well, maybe they took on for example, the Mustangs and was like, oh, this is going to be just a simple little glow up, a few things we need to add to it, and then maybe they just, as they worked on it, it progressed into something more significant. So I don't know. Do
you boys think they went back towards the more original Mustang and just make it hover like the Nomad? I certainly hope they did, because if they didn't, I'm going to be annoyed.
Mate, I hope they've got rid of the landing wheels and they've got on skids again, because to me the skids were that low-tech solution. It was World War II initial first jet fighters. You know, they literally landed on a skid on the hull. And I'd love to see that type of thing in, where lands on the hull and the wings are just to stabilize them to keep it level. And so if you lost a wing, it didn't matter. You still landed. Just go over.
Interesting to see some updated Sinu kit as well. It's going to give a tip of the hat to the Forge, or as the Pioneer. Yeah, really interesting. I think we're going to be eating pretty by the end of this year, boys. Anyone that thinks Squadron's not coming to, the reason why this is all happening is in preparation for Squadron. It's 100%. You got to have your the normies are not going to put up with test level shit. That's why the old Aurora had to go. That's why the Mustang's got to go. That's why the Connie's got to go. All that type of shit. It's all going to be ducks in a row type analogy, because they won't put up with buggy shit. Like, there was I just to put this in perspective, right? Just to show you what a normal person expects. I was on with General Desperado last night doing Rock Cracker, and this person came into his chat. He was a new person, and he said, "How do I change how do I figure out a loadout for my ship?" So they sent him to Urkel. He went on Urkel. He worked out and he goes, "Now, how do I order and get my guns delivered?" He didn't even know, so I was just like, whoa, what a concept. That'd be amazing if I could click a button and the AI delivered all the guns to where I am and they just come up on my lift, and that'd be great, wouldn't it?
No, you got to go to your hangar.
And you got to do it all by yourself, and you got to fly all the way around the verse, and you got to equip it all by hand, and what a clusterfuck that is every fucking patch. But that's what he's expecting. He's expecting me to put an order in, and it's like DoorDash, and they deliver him his guns and weapons. Well, that'll be amazing one day when that happens. But if that's what a normie is expecting in this day and age, you see what I mean? So they CIG are in for a world of hurt. They know it.
But it's also, it's a bit like, if you can do that, where's the gameplay? It goes back to people who'd say, why buy every ship, or why do this? Because you've got no gameplay. Well, if you just order everything and it's there, where's your gameplay? Where's your...
Well, Algared, one person's delivering... One person putting in a delivery, getting a delivery is someone else's gameplay because they have to deliver it.
Yeah.
But his gameplay might just be, I want my guns on my ship so I can go pew-pew.
Yep, I get it.
Before the horse.
I'm picking up that same type of argument. If people say, why get all these ships? Because you've got nothing to game for. Well, people have different gameplay focuses, and
you are sounding so much like Albo at the moment. I don't know if you saw his stuff this week. Whereas our Prime Minister basically came out and basically said, I want to get everyone off social media and go back to the 50s. That's pretty much what he said. It was the most he's just like this boomer complaining that, everything, we can't go back, and we're having a mass. Anyway, I'm getting into politics, but he sounds like a complete idiot. He's like, I want to go back. It's too hard. I want to go back to paper and pencils. It was just the ultimate boomer. It was terrible. He did an address to the nation, and it was not a joke. Anyway,
we'll get through it like we always do.
Yeah, not thanks to him though. Anyway, or any of them. But anyway,
yeah. Sorry, that's us having a political jab at our Prime Minister, because we can.
Yeah. Well, you guys can do it too. But we see my fellow Americans. He did one of those, but it was my fellow Aussies. Everything, and it was
to which Australians go.
It's meant to be really important. You're meant to pay attention, and he basically didn't take any responsibility. Didn't say I was going to fix it. Didn't say shit. He just basically said, "No, we'll get through this. It's a hard time. Go suck a dick." That's basically what he said.
Yeah.
Anyway,
we're taking some taxes off. So yeah.
It's bullshit. Anyway. Let's get it past that.
Anyway,
back on the ships. Yeah. So you saw the whole beast stuff, I assume, to Grim?
Mm-hmm.
Grim?
Oh, sorry. What was that?
You saw the whole beast stuff.
You saw the whole beast stuff?
Yeah, the teaser image, the sneak peek one.
Yeah. No, just the sneak peek, but you also saw the
video.
There was a little leaked one as well.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. I'm excited for it. I mean, I hope it takes on this wider plane form, kind of, hull aesthetic, kind of reminiscent of sort of the, what's the ship called? The Odyssey, that mix design that's less tubular and a little bit more flat and wide. I do really like that look when they lean into that for MISC ships. So I'm hoping that's what the hull B is. I really think this is going to be a popular ship.
Can I interrupt you for 2 seconds? I
Sure.
just got sent this by everyone's favorite shitlord, PPP. You want to read that? Because I think that might bear fruit for you, sir.
Oh yeah, I messaged, I replied to that one. Yeah, Paul Jones is heading
back to
last day
Manchester.
Ubisoft and heading back to Manchester. Although he used to live there, so it would be a little bit like going home. But I don't know if we should read too much into it. But maybe, I don't know. Who knows?
You better come back, Mitch. That's what I'm gonna say. I want you back. I don't know how Ben would take that, but it'd be cool to have another person on the team with them. To be honest, they probably need more than less people.
Yeah, it also could be a thing where it's, who knows, maybe a freelance sort of role.
Yep.
You never know. But it is. I always like Paul. He's a super nice guy, and I know he went through the trials and tribulations at Ubisoft. So hopefully, him and his family are doing well and coming back to Manchester.
Yep. I think it needs to be a part of his rehiring that he gets a tattoo of the Odyssey, because he's really known as Paul Carrot Killer Jones.
Yes. And a lot of the ships that everyone is excited for right now that Ben Curtis is overseeing, they originally started off as Paul Jones directed concepts. Now they're people help design them. Gavin Rothery, internal artist at CIG and stuff. But like ships like the Kraken, the Galaxy, Ironclads, and stuff. A lot of that started all the way back when Paul was there. Maybe not the Ironclad, but definitely the Galaxy and Kraken.
Yeah, it'd be. I was just gonna say it'd be really interesting. He might just want to do something different, though, as you said. Like he was there for like what? He was there for like 9 years, so he might have had enough. Yeah,
very much.
I would say.
But look, being there so long, he may have also been part of those legacy systems that still need to be resorted and reworked. And would it be nice to have him back? Sure.
Hey, maybe he's coming back to finish the work on the Banu Merchantman. Wouldn't that be a story to be told?
Yep. Look, but are we reading too much into it? Probably. Are we just saying what would be nice? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I mean, Manchester, I imagine, is a big town with a lot of opportunity. I've never been there myself, so I'm not sure what it's like there, but I would imagine it's a pretty big town.
It's a very big town. It's absolutely huge. Yeah. The thing that really got me in Algared was just all the old buildings that were like over 100 years. Like every building was built out of stone. It was crazy.
It was the Roman period stuff that got me, rather than the.
But the age of the place, like, because where we're from, everything is like 200 years old max, right?
Go anywhere in England, and you're going to get that type of stuff, mate.
Yeah, but Manchester was just blocks and blocks and blocks and blocks and blocks, like just from wherever you went. It's like a fucking giant pantheon in the middle of the fucking city, for fuck's sake. Like, it was just, I had not seen something like that before. Because I've been to newer places, right? And non-Western places. So for me, it was just how much old shit there was, right? Maybe for you, you're probably more cultured than me, but to me, that was impressive.
It is an old Roman town, so yeah, it is old, and there's heaps of really old stuff there. Like you're like, oh, the cathedral. Oh yeah, that's older than Australia. As from European settlement, so our oldest buildings just don't match up. But yeah,
I'll be back in 2 minutes, gents.
No worries.
No worries.
I was going to ask you about the whole B stuff, but I'll wait to hear back.
I was Googling just to double check who was the concept artist of the Hull B. Let's see if I can find that list again. And it initially came up and says, oh, it was George Hull, but George Hull was not. And I just thought, that would have been humorous. But it wasn't George Hull. It was Jim Martin was the original concept artist. And he I know they said, "Hey, we want a concept for the Hull C," and he came back and said, "Oh, look, I got a whole plethora of them." And
Yeah.
so,
all right, we'll wait till Grim gets back to talk about that one.
Yep.
But what I did find, thanks to, I don't know the person's name because I'm in streamer mode, but someone did message me this and tell me there are additional data mines by Xeon in some of the leaks Discord that does, all it says is a MISC starlight spotted.
Yeah.
Hell, that could be. Let's Gemini the name.
And I'm back.
Oh, you're back. All right. I wanted to ask you about this real quick.
Yep.
What did you think? Have you seen this or not?
Yeah, I really like it. I mean, I think MISC is sort of like RSI to me, where there's sort of two kind of design look and feels for their ships. And to me, this one, again, I haven't seen totally what this looks like, but it does look wider, and it's leaning a little bit more towards like the Odyssey type look, and less towards like the Freelancer Hull series phallic shape. So I really like the flatter look. I hope that's where it's going. I'm excited for this ship, and I didn't think I would be.
So from what I can gather, the arms are out like this. They rotate so you can load the cargo. But you'll also notice, if I just get in the right position, see how it's got those arms? I think that they compact and it kind of goes flat, and then they can essentially fold into the ship.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And if you look at with this image here, you can kind of see them folded in. And then it closes.
Yeah.
I think that's what you're looking at.
I really, I mean, like I said, I really like it. To me, it really has me interested for where CIG is going to take the Hull D and Hull E. Where is it going to follow the Hull C's kind of path, which we know,
yes.
I mean, you two know better than me. The Hull C, while released not too awful long ago, it's actually really old. They designed that a long time ago. So I just kind of, CIG's not been shy about redirecting the design language of some of these tried and true manufacturers. We're even seeing that in some of the newer Drake stuff. So it kind of makes me wonder if they're starting to shift MISC in a slightly different direction. I'm all for it. I really like what we're seeing here.
Yeah, essentially Algared will tell you the same thing, I'm pretty sure, but the Hull D and the E are really just fundamentally bigger Hull C's, but more so than the A and the B.
And that's what I think they're probably going to do with it. I'm just expecting, honestly, more cargo panels on the D and E. But I really like some of these sort of manufacturer aesthetic refreshes that they're doing. You know what I mean?
Well, I
mean, they're not universally loved. I mean, I've heard a lot of people that don't like, for example, some of the new RSI stuff. But in general, I think it's been a big success. So.
If you look at trying to find this, there's some new kit in there, and there's new branding and stuff like that. So they've definitely been working on MISC stuff as well. So again, it makes sense to me for what we said about today about the Freelancer. There's now a Starlight name out there as well. I was going to Gemini that real quick. Based on MISC manufacturer
ships,
Star Citizen, what could a ship named the Starlight be for? And it was, I'm going to check the spelling. Starlight, that is how they spell it. For. Actually, wouldn't you call it light as in L-I-G-H-T? Starlight? Not starlight as in light.
Yeah.
Starlight implies that it's very light.
Yep. So
it's a small
I would
ship.
have thought would be a smaller version.
Yeah, let's see what it says. But yeah, go ahead, Algared.
And my gut feeling would be it'd be like the version of the Starfarer.
So these are the three they say: Explorer, Data Runner, Industrial, Luxury, Lifestyle, Industrial, Specialized Research, Astronomical Mapping. Yeah, I think it's a refueler, personally.
Yeah,
Could be.
and that ties in with that whole points from the 4.8 cards. It's missions, and you want missions where you can summon a ship for refueling.
Mm-hmm.
You want missions where you can take a ship for refueling.
Yep.
And I could see them doing 2 ships. I could see them doing the mole variant, or the
golem
raft variant,
the
or the golem variant,
Yeah.
or even the starlight, the Starfire Light version, and having multiple ships that do that.
Well, you
do
need
that
different.
role. So
You need
variety.
different tech levels for different systems. So, for example, you could see the golem in Nyx or or Pyro, but then you could probably see the Starlight in Stanton. For example.
Yeah, and but also it gives choice to players as to what style they want to go with, and and then for the NPC ships, if you're in Mysk, if you're in Pyro, you very rarely would see a Starlight turn up to help you, because that's more high tech.
That's really. Can I just read what Piss Paul Pete said? Starlight was a material some backyard scientists made that had better thermal resistance than space shuttle tiles. See, this is the invaluable information that an engineer gives you, yet Piss Paul Pete thinks he's got nothing to contribute. That tells me that it maybe is more likely an explorer. So could we be looking at a starter ship from Mysk? Like under the Reliant? I think we could.
I definitely think there's room there for one, or a modular ship or something. We like a true kind of starter. I have always thought of the Reliant as a little bit of a starter plus, to be quite honest with you.
And it is. It's an advanced starter.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Two people.
Yeah.
So it was the first.
Actually, I just thought about something. How many Reliant variants are there?
I thought of that too. Don't worry.
Okay.
But the Mustang makes the most sense, because
makes most sense.
There is proof that the Mustang's kind of coming. There's no proof for the Connie, and there's no proof for the Reliant or the Freelance. So connecting the dots, I just had connected the dots of the Mustang to the number of variants like an idiot. I had Connie blinders on, and when you kind of said that, I'm like, oh, duh, yeah, of course.
I think that show, the April 25th show with AMD is probably one of the biggest things that indicate.
Explains why they're all in Lot Zero too, because they're going to be ready.
I could see that. That seems to be the best. Yeah. That's one, and it's also the starter ship which CIG originally brought out to be parallel with the Aurora. So everything
also
seems to fit there.
It does get me excited just on a general level too, if that's the case, and I do think that's the most likely case, again, trying to get all those starters up to standard for an eventual 1.0 destination, Squadron 42 coming out. Again, it's them teching off some of this stuff does put me in a good headspace, because it does look like CIG is heading towards a plan. You know what I mean? The more of these starter ships that get ticked off, okay, obviously they are doing that for a reason internally. I mean, we know there's a reason, but it makes you it sort of just reminds you that, okay, good, there's probably some sort of internal roadmap they're following for this 1.0 release and all that. So,
Yep.
Hopefully that's the case.
Oh yeah, there are 4 variants of the Reliant. The only one that's not there is the Sen, because that's the one I pulled up. But yeah, the Core, the Mako, the Tanner, and the Sen. So again, I would say this is another ship that is functional. It's not in the best state, but it is functional. There is not some gameplay breaking bugs that doesn't make it work.
And yet, that is also one that would benefit from changes to geometry and all the rest of it, because it does rotate and spin and everything. So
I don't disagree. And Dawn Steeler did reach out to me, and we did talk about this, I think yesterday or the day before, because he's a big fan of the Reliant as well. If you remember the episode we did with him way back now. But yeah, no, I agree. It could be that as well, but I think the evidence is almost overwhelmingly pointing towards Mustang at this point. I think, let's put it this way. We would all agree Freelancer, Reliant, and Connie, they all need it as well. And I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see some of those pop up by the end of the year.
No, I wouldn't be surprised to see that at all. Because it's, as you've said several times, it's getting all those base ships lined up for squadrons.
Yeah.
And also then with the expectation that a lot of those new players, those squadron players, are going to come across to the PU, making sure that is all those starter ships and beginner ships are working and polished and nice and working for them.
I sit here and I kind of think about what Grim said about them kind of hinting at the Connie and stuff like that. Out of those ships, if I was going to release any ship alongside Squadron, it would be the Connie.
Yeah.
So if you know, by the way, we released Squadron. Oh, by the way, here's this brand new Connie. On the bag. Yep. Give me the money. Like, because that, like, if it's anything like what I'm envisioning, I don't know if you guys can you see it in your head? Like a mini Polaris that's like a Connie and the nacelles kind of break off. Can you visualize that like I can? I'm just like, holy shit, take my money. Like, that thing will...
Yeah, I can visualize it. I just wonder if, again, man, it's really a weird place for the RSI lineup because they have the Apollo and now the Hermes. Well, more so the Hermes here that kind of push up where the Connies are, you know, sort of where those ships are living. And if they were to bring in a Connie, like a new version of it, it's like yet another ship that's starting to play in that playground, and it starts to feel pretty crowded versus them just, you know, doing a more kind of up-to-date pass on the existing Connies. What to say though?
I can see both. I could see them doing a more Dorito style. Maybe not using the Polaris, but using the Galaxy because it's a closer size ship.
I just said the Polaris because of the shape. So, and the
it.
other features the Polaris lead into what I was trying to explain. The hangar and the cargo.
But the Hermes and the Apollo, I've always thought are cut down Connies. And the fact that they're now almost as big as a Connie does kind of make it feel like that's a Connie hull with just 2 nacelles instead of 4. So
unless not to interrupt you, Algared, but unless, like I did on a kit bash stream I did where I was sort of mocking up what a Connie Mark II would be, one thought I could see is that if there was a Connie Mark II or Mark VIII or whatever the hell they're calling it, I could see it growing more into the Star Lancer size and being more of a Star Lancer competitor. We don't really have a lot in that size regime, and with the Hermes kind of sitting where it's at, the Zeus is right under that, the Galaxy just above the Star Lancer, it would be a perfect fit.
We went through this yesterday. The Galaxy is the same size as the Star Lancer, so
it is.
You are wrong. So what I'm saying is the Connie needs to be below because that's in the same size class as because larges are really weird. There's technically 2 larges. There's like the smaller larges like a Connie, and then the larger larges that are like the Galaxy, the Starlancer, the Carrack, the Starfarer, and then the smaller ones are like the Corsair, the MSR, stuff like that.
Yeah, and as you're talking, my thought was the Galaxy is basically a Starlancer. That's your bigger. Your biggest brand.
I could see that.
I do have a question for you though. With the amount of rework and polish required for, say, the Mark I Connies, do you think that they're going to redo all the Mark I's and buff them up to a standard, and then do Mark IIs, or do you think they're just going to upgrade everything straight away and no markage?
I think they're just going to upgrade it. I still think. In my community, there are so many people that still really, really love the existing Connies. Yes, they want little things to be fixed or, you know, some stuff like that. But like in terms of just the ship itself, there's still a lot of love for that ship. And like almost surprisingly so. There's still times where I'm like, wow, man, there's a lot of Constellation fans. And, you know, it wouldn't take much really to glow those ships up, and they have everything they need to do it. Wall paneling, floor paneling, all that. They could literally bring the personnel lift from the Hermes and Apollo series right into the Connies, switch that part out. Again, there's a lot of stuff they have that could really plus the Connie up and put it in a place where you're just like, oh, it's a great ship now.
Everything you were saying, I'm expecting. Everything you're saying.
Yeah.
I've been saying it for years.
And the fact that you've got this, in the monthly report, the first thing they talk about, when it's moving to that RSI, the RSI Galaxy is going through, having staff go back to it. Like other ships in pre-production. So there's other ships that in pre-production that have staff go back to the market hiatus.
Well,
they went over the initial layout, but it's benefiting from that increased, ever-growing asset library. So RSI's asset library is just out the wazoo.
Here's a question for you two. Do you think there is a negative aspect to them doing too many Mark IIs, in that whenever a Mark II comes out, obviously the precedent has been to retire the old one. It's sunsetted. Do you think there's a risk of doing too many Mark IIs where they sort of tell people, hey, the ship you're buying is going to be sunsetted one day, just heads up?
There's two parts to it, right? They need to do it because they need a higher quality for the new people coming into the game after Squadron. I get that, right? But the second part of it is charging people extra money for a ship they've held on to for over a decade, and they never ever really properly got to use it in the game.
Working in the game, yeah.
Right. And so I think it should be a free upgrade.
I do too.
I don't think it should be a paid for upgrade. I think it, or at very least a heavily discounted upgrade.
Heavily discounted, yeah.
Right.
Like a $10 upgrade or whatever.
And it's the same thing as I said to Algared with skins. Like if you buy a skin, you've held onto it for like over a decade, why the hell does it not work on the new version? That's just ridiculous. So you're looking at these people that have supported you for such a long period of time, and you're bitch slapping them across the face. That's just, I understand why you're doing it, but it's really bad and distasteful. And like, if I supported you doing something for a decade, Algared, and you just turned around and said, now I need more money, that's pretty distasteful. Like, it just,
Yep.
And no matter how I look at it, I've got to stand back from the situation, and you put that same situation in other situations, you can see why people would be pissed off. So I think CIG just need to swallow their pride money pill and do what's right by the longer term backers. Because every time after this thing goes live, they're never going to see that shit again. So thanking the people that helped you get here is a very small thing to do.
Yep. Oh, I think they need to do the Buccaneer treatment. Now, back in the day, the Buccaneer was created because when they worked over the Cutlass was sold as a ship that was a fighter with cargo space, it was nimble and everything. And they worked over the Cutlass and said, the Cutlass now flies like it's supposed to, i.e. a cargo ship. And it was a wallowing fat sow. And people were cheesed off with it. They said, this is not what we bought. We bought a light fighter. And so CIG created the Buccaneer and then said, okay, for those of you who wanted a light fighter, here's a $0 CCU to this new ship.
Yep.
The Buccaneer. For those who wanted to keep the cargo variant with the guns, you can keep the
So essentially what you're asking for, Algared, is a CCU that, because we know CCUs go backwards, we've seen it in the past, right? So basically maybe say something akin to a $5 CCU from the ship you have to the same variant of a new one. I think that would solve the
Buccaneer.
The Buccaneer was $0. I'm saying a very small upgrade I think is okay. $5 I would be happy with. But not 50 like they did with the Hornet. That was just a bitch slap. The people that had.
Well, I think that you say you do a zero. I think $0 for a limited time. You say, look, if you want to keep your like they did with the what's that? The
You,
black, the Cutlass, like they did with the Cutlass and the Buccaneer. For a limited time, if you want to go from Cutlass to the Buccaneer, $0 CCU. If you want to keep your Cutlass, you keep it.
The difference, though, Algared, is they're sunsetting these ships. Now, you cannot tell me, based on other things you and I have seen, let's talk about the Mustang Amiga as an example, where less people use a ship, it just does not get the treatment it deserves. So you cannot tell me the Aurora Mark 1 is going to get the same treatment as the Aurora Mark 2.
No,
I wouldn't fucking believe you.
And being sunset, it's even worse.
Yeah.
But at least if you say, even if you're selling the new ship at more, if you go $0 CCU from this ship to this ship,
I don't think you can do $0. It caused a problem with their system with a lot of free duplicates. So I think they've literally got to do a $5 one just to remove the number of them. $5 will limit how many people buy them. And again, do you even need to buy it? Can't you just give it to the person that owns the ship? You just apply it to their account with a $0 melt value. Bang.
Well, if by saying $0, I'm saying you don't charge. People
so it's just automatically
$10.
So because their system can look at people that own ships and they can go through and go, all right, so you've got, let's just say it's a Connie, right? You got a Connie Andromeda. Here is an upgrade to a Connie Mark II Andromeda. Bang, applied to every single person that owns one. But here's the kicker. What if you have a CCU? What if your ship is sitting in a CCU chain? They also need to give it to people that have CCUs. So that's why I'm saying that they need to charge for it and make it $5. And just do it for just for a 2-week window.
Those who have it in a CCU, that is a problematic issue. But the idea of CCUs was never you'd buy a CCU and let it sit there. The idea of a CCU was you buy it and apply it. And you can and make it so you can only buy the number you have. So if you have 3 CCUs, then you can buy 3 upgrades to that variant. If you have 3 ships, you can upgrade to that. You know what I mean? So they need to work. Again, it's their system that's making these problems. Yeah. I think one of the things that is clear from what we're talking about here as well is also how difficult it is in terms of just sorting through the mess that exists with CPUs and upgrades and even sunsetting old ships that have never seen their light of day.
There'll be a shitload of tickets going in for people requesting the upgrades and stuff like that too. So it's going to put a lot of work on their ticketing people.
With the sunsetting thing, it's like, yes, they're going to still support them, but no one likes to hear their favorite ship is being sunsetted. Like, for example, if you place that label on a new ship, right, something that we all currently love and think is great, if you go point to a future where the Polaris is being sunsetted, it doesn't feel good if you're the Polaris owner.
Make it really simple. What happens when a Mark III Aurora comes out? There's your analogy right there.
Yeah.
And that's the other problem as well.
Yeah.
At some point down the track.
And it's like it's like what Piss Poor Pete said. Sunsetting ships before the game is launched is mental. That's our entire point. So so you can't you just give them the free upgrade. You make it so all the skins fucking work. Everyone's gonna be happy. And yes, they held onto the skin for 10 years. Just make it so that everyone has access to the skins and there's no fucking problem. It's the fact that I brought it and sat on it for 10 years and now you're telling me it's worth shit. That pisses me off. I don't give a fuck if Algared can walk along and buy the same fucking skin. I just want the skin that I paid for.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think as we look at the ships we've got, there is going to be a point where 5 years, 10 years down the track, Hornet Mark III, the Perseus Mark II, so it really does raise an issue with if you do too many sunsetting, it really does say nothing is guaranteed. Don't buy anything.
And I buy this really expensive skin, and it's now time limited. Fuck off. That's like artificially releasing a Star Citizen 2 and then just making it, and then you just copy the game over and go, but none of the skins work. You have to rebuy them all now. Like what FIFA and shit do. But it's even worse because the game didn't actually come out.
It's to put it in MMO language, it's like playing WoW, having a hunter class, and then the hunter class being discontinued.
Yeah. Well, FIFA's the same analogy. They resell the game every year, and you have to rebuy the same skins on the next copy of the game.
Yeah,
it's just fun. It's just farming.
But thanks for letting me jump in for a short bit.
I'm glad you enjoyed your dinner, Grim OG, the whole time.
I'm sorry.
Lazy bitch.
I need to mute. I need to go to push to talk then. I didn't know you could hear.
Yeah, I'll stick cookie. All right, have a good one, mate.
I'm gonna host a stream soon where I invite both of you, but it's gonna be a dinner stream. You can eat breakfast or dinner, whatever it is. Yeah, that way you can fully get back at me, and we'll be good.
Algared, I think we do beer and pretzels and just burp the whole time.
Yeah, beer and pretzels and crunch. Yeah. Turn our filters right down and yeah.
Take care, Grim.
Cool. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
So, Joe, going back to my point, as you scroll down a little bit further, there's also the core gameplay features they're also working on. Things like hacking and all those nice little things. Things that we're looking forward to. So, yeah.
Over here.
So, crafting, engineering, refueling mechanic. Lots of the little things have been worked on, and the refueling mechanic I think is interesting because it ties in with that card for 4.8 as well. So lots of little things and in there, and it is always interesting if you can go through the monthly report and just because there's so much gold in the monthly reports you see. But preaching to the converted in our audience, no doubt.
They did actually mention the command module going back and being worked on the Caterpillar as well. So it will be when the Ironclad comes, it'll work for the Caterpillar as well, which will be good. Right now, normally we go about an hour, Algared, and we've gone halfway through the show. We haven't even done a question yet. So do you think we should do some questions, or you want to keep talking?
Well, just a quick one with the Ironclad. We've often said in the past the Ironclad is basically the Caterpillar fat. And so I wouldn't be surprised to see the Caterpillar benefit from the work of the Ironclad. And it does say the team also returned to the Caterpillar to set it up for the command module. So as you were just saying, so you've got that aspect. And I can't see if they go back to the Caterpillar to set up the command module and make sure it's working, then they're not going to polish it up and do other stuff. And so.
I'm getting a few people sending me messages about this Meteor variant. There's apparently a Meteor variant coming into the game that has all lasers.
Well, it's been a long time since we've had Beam Citizen mentioned.
Clearly, they got the message that the Meteor was lackluster. So they went back and did another bespoke gun for it, which is a good thing. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just... Meteor looks cool, but it's just not very functional. And its price really put me off. If I wanted a Meteor, I'd just get the Mustang. The Mantis. It's got a better, cool, bespoke feature. More useful in game to me. They totally missed the mark with the Meteor in my book. Way too expensive, way too glass cannony, and for the price that you're paying, you've literally got Corsairs, Connies, and MSRs around you that do far more. And if you wanted to fight a Scorpius Hurricane, there's way better options up there.
The only thing I think the Meteor has going for it is it's a cool looking ship. That's because it's on the it's on the
it is the
Mantis's body.
It is the definition of rule of cool over functionality, and that's the problem. Like again, ship's got to look cool, but it's also got to work properly. And again, we'll critique things as we see them. And
form over function is not a good way to go.
No, she looks awesome, but she ain't do shit. She's
indeed.
Oh, if she was a woman, you'd say she's all looks but no brains. It's not what you want. You want someone balanced, bit of everything. Right.
So
next question.
Questions. Oh, scrolling up. Got to find the question. Okay, first question is from Reebok Raid Z3161. What do you think of CIG removing the paint from a mole carbon talus and turning it into livery? Do you think now, because it's a livery, it would go on into the concierge store?
Hopefully at some point they will sell them so everyone can get them again. I think that's a really good idea. Even then, though, that's just them getting their system, aka ducks in a row, as we keep saying, for Squadron. Because do you think the normies are going to put up with the bullshit that you and I and Algared have gone through for the last decade? Hell to the no. That's what this is all about. It's getting it ready for people aren't going to put up with their bullshit. We put up with their bullshit. We complained about it. Now they're going to fix it so the normies don't. Imagine the complaints on the first day, Algared. Can you imagine?
Yeah, why can't I take my skin off?
Yeah.
Look, I expect we are going to see it go down the line. I wouldn't be surprised if we eventually see, and let's say specifically, let's say the Connie Emerald, the Phoenix Emerald it's green because the metal is some special alloy.
Yeah.
It's going to be a livery. And they're going to do that with everything. Anything that's a unique skin is going to get a livery. I'd love to see the Amiga
shows.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Yeah.
The Amiga skin, it shouldn't, given that it looks exactly like the Gamma. They should be liveries. They shouldn't be.
Well, I also argue now that it should actually get its extra booster back. They should just make it a component. It's got a component that gives like an extra 50% boost that you can only get on the Mustang.
Yeah, well, like I can remember the Gammas and the Mustangs and the Amigas used to be able to add a third engine or third kind of thing to fill in where the cargo bay went because you lost the cargo bay.
Mm-hmm.
So there was unique things you could do with those ships. It'd be nice to see them back, but I do expect to go to the question that any of those ships that are, the Talus, the Carbon, they're going to be turned into deliveries. So yeah,
absolutely.
Rabbit, what video did we comment on? Talking about the Aurora giveaway. I believe it was the Aurora video. And if you do comment on it, you make sure you are a publicly subscribed person, and you may possibly still make it into the draw.
Let me do a refresh and see if we've got any more on there now. We're up to. Wait, that can't be right. Number's going down. It was 61. Now it's 30. What?
That's because they put themselves in publicly subscribed so they get the draw, and then they took themselves off publicly subscribed. Yes.
Not even work. Confusing as fuck.
I would just say put yourself publicly subscribed, say in, and leave a comment, and that gets you in the draw. But it has to be on the Aurora video, not on this one or anything else. So yeah, do that. And you've probably got, I'm going to say you've got, let's say it's 9:40 now. We usually draw, I'm going to say you've got 20 minutes. 20 minutes to get your entry into that competition done if you wish to win the...
You want to do it at 10? Yeah, okay, we'll do it at 10. Now it's down to...
I give them 20 minutes. 20 minutes to get that in.
It said 60, then it said 30, now it's down to 20. What the hell's going on with this system?
Je ne sais pas.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. All right, so there's only 20 there now. So yeah, it'll be probably take if. Yeah, I think I'll just do it the old school way. I can't be bothered to remember all the names.
Ashhole does say.
Just call him Ash. He's trying to eat us.
Yeah, I know what he's trying to do, but I'll just call him Ashhole. And
just Google how do I make? I'll let people see if I'm subscribed or not on YouTube. That's what you got to Google.
Yeah, that'll be easy.
It's not info. So, all it's telling me is that you're subscribed or not. How is that? Who gives a shit?
Yeah, by
if I can't see you're subscribed, then how do I know you're subscribed? It's the only way I know.
Yep. So we just click the thing on YouTube and go publicly subscribed. Boom. Yeah, and it's under your privacy settings. Let other people see that you're subscribed to that channel.
Yes, Tricorder, you are one of the 20. Congratulations. You are in the draw. It just goes, question, am I one of the 20? Yeah.
Yep, and that'll actually scroll down to the bottom, and you just beat me to it. Otherwise, we get to it and we go, oh, hang on.
Yep. All right, that's why I put the laugh emoji on there because it was funny.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yep. Feathers McClaw says, how do I make myself Yes, service. It's exactly the same thing we just said. Reebok Raids 3161. Do you think the whole Z at the end was too polished to be just a gag? It looks like the whole Z could be part of an in-game event. Maybe. Your guess. Look, you're speculating there. Your speculation at some point is no different from our speculation. It's take the dots you see, put them in a line, and see what holds. It could be. I still wonder where the Q is and the H is. The Q, I definitely expected to see because there's always been talk about the Q ship.
Okay, the 79 selected. 79. I figured out what was going on. I had to scroll down and load them in.
Of course you did.
But the way you can tell, right? This is how you can tell. Like if I come it over, is it shows people having a red square next to their name. That's how you can know. And if you want to see if you're in the draw, just pause real quick. But yeah, that's everyone that's in the moment. Yeah. We're at 79. We'll come back and have a look at that in a bit. Anyway. Right.
Yep, and you don't have to be a paid subscriber or anything else. It's just
subscribed.
It's none of that membership stuff. It's just
just subscribed.
Just subscribe.
Yeah.
Honey Pelchi. I'm not sure how I'd say that. But Honey. Hi, James.
Oh. Yeah, I just call him Honey. Yeah, just Honey's. Yep. Yeah, that's too complicated even for me.
So Honey says, "Hi, gents. Where is the 2026 tier list part 2?
That'll be in July, August. We deliberately aimed it for the 2 lull points. So January, February is a lull point, and July, August is another one. Yeah. Even and the funny thing is, we separated it out. We planned to make them short episodes. And what happened? Everyone talked for even longer. It was even longer than any episode we'd ever done, and it was of them.
Because we didn't have to rush to get through the whole lot of them.
And I still had to cut you off because we talked about the Corsair for 20 minutes.
You did.
I was like, this is an entire episode of the Corsair on its own. Like, I had to play Dad. I didn't want to play Dad, but it was clearly Dad. I was like, we have to move on, kids. This is fucked.
We could cut that section out of that video and just release it as a Corsair video.
Yeah. Hey, Lemon, good to see you, man.
Good to see you, mate. So, yes. So that's when that will come out, when we do it. And we deliberately left it because we did want to be able to spend more time looking at the stuff and not feel rushed. And that was the other thing. We normally it was more, and we did say, no, we'll just let people go. Bulimic Panda. Thoughts on the Aurora Mark 1 SE?
Best Aurora there is, type of thing, really. You know? It was all the other Auroras.
Mark 1. SE Mark 1. That's the new version of the one that's been sunsetted.
You mean, yeah, I know what it is. Yeah, but it's function over form. Mark 2. Why the fuck would you buy an Aurora when it's dead?
I'll just quote you. The Aurora is dead. Long live the Mark 2. Yeah,
I think that's what I said. Some of those words to that effect. But yeah, it's. And at the end of the day, no matter how rare it is, you pull it out. Is it as good as the Mark II? No, it's not.
No.
It's the same reason. It's the same reason I never bought the Scythe when it was available for $350 that day, because I looked at it and went, I can get 3 Super Hornets or 3 Hornets, and they're better than a Scythe. Why the fuck would I buy a Scythe? Well, obviously it's rarity. Hindsight 2020, but fundamentally, on a functional standpoint, Hornet is going to beat a Scythe.
And even if you look at their lore, the Hornet beats the Scythe.
Yeah.
So, the lore is basically, it was Gladius, Scythe, Hornet, Glaive, going up, scaling up the combat. So it's kind of an arms race, and the Hornet trumps the Scythe. Scythe trumps the Gladius. Gladius trumps the Blade. blade trumps whatever the previous ship was. But that was the kind of logic they had.
Just real quickly, Wolf Blitzer there says, yeah, they will probably make modular ships from now on, more money and versatility. They've always had modular ships, and it was always a part of the plan. They just never had the tools. And those tools have come in as the Apollos came out, Retaliator, there's been test beds for all this stuff, and now they're in. Yeah, they probably will make more modular ones because people have called them lying assholes. No, they're not lying assholes. They just can only make with what they're given. If I'm a baker and I've got no fucking oven, how the fuck do I make bread?
Yep. The classic example to show what we mean that it's always been part of CIG's plan. Have a look at the Aurora video, the original Aurora ad. And the idea was every ship had upgrade points, and you could then use X number of points. This module takes 2 upgrade points, and I've got so many upgrade points. That was the original type of concept. The Auroras started off, here's my Aurora. Yeah, but I want a larger cargo bay. Click. I want more weapons. Click. I want more. And it was literally just upgrade heaven.
While you're talking about the Make 1 there too, don't think the Mark 1s are disappearing. When we say sunsetted, you know what that means? It's a quest reward. That's what it'll become. It'll be that rare thing that you go out and earn, and then you go around and earn all the skins for it and shit like that. It'll be, the thing you do when you've got nothing else to do, type of thing. And that'll happen with whatever other ships that are Marked 1.
Every ship that gets sunsetted will be like that.
Years from now, they bring out an Asgard Mark 2. You can go around and earn the Asgard Mark 1. It'll be the same shit going forward.
Do you really think that when they do a 20-year celebration of Star Citizen or a 15-year celebration of Star Citizen, they're not going to have a quest where you can go out and earn one of the iconic ships that started all, the Aurora?
Yep. Blueprints are another thing. That's another thing.
Whether it's earning the blueprints to build the ship. Sunsetting just means they're not selling it in the shop, or it's available to buy in game.
As we said, though, it's just those key little things. Those people that supported you, you got to support them. Because to me, because this is what I would do, Algared. Free upgrade to the Mark II and give them a blueprint to the Mark I. Problem solved. Your CIG are looking at it in a marketing going, how can we profit off this? No, you got to look at it as a customer. I brought something I'm never going to get to use. I sat on it for 10 years, and now you're replacing it. That is shit.
To me, it goes back to, you remember when we were sitting there drinking coffee with Sandy, and we were talking ships. So we asked the question, why did the Aurora pack disappear with with Squadron 42 in it? And Sandy just said, well, I really didn't like the fact that people were buying something that they didn't have. And so we took it off because Squadron 42
that's who we've got to talk to. We've got to get to Sandy. We've got to talk to Sandy. We talk to Sandy, we can fix this shit. Yeah, I think that's the one thing I miss about Sandy being in the marketing more than anything, was she fucking got people. Fucking oath she got people. All the things you would say, like, you can't do that. People won't put up with that shit. And she totally changed how customer service worked. The whole concierge thing came from her.
It wasn't marketing that she changed. It was customer service.
That.
The view that we're not cash cows. We were customers. We're important. And she took that view of, you are valued customers, and we want you to feel valued.
Yeah, that's it.
And that was the whole philosophy, and that's why the Auroras disappeared off the market with the Squadron 42 packet, because Squadron 42 was.
I think you mean more Squadron. I think just to clarify, because you're confusing the issue. Squadron 42 disappeared from the store because when you brought Squadron 42, you got nothing. Remove the Aurora part because you're confusing people. I'm sorry, I'm just clarifying.
No, good to clarify, because that is the real essence of what we were talking about, but it was that key thing. It wasn't, we want to take it away because we want to do marketing for Squadron 42. It was, no, we're taking it away because you're not getting people buying it, and there's nothing to show for it. And Sandy hated that idea. So So I'd like to see more of that type of approach.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So yeah, if someone at CIG is watching, please get a message to Sandy.
Yeah.
Or we'll have to. And if we do it, you're going to be in more trouble.
No, don't be like that.
We will send in the Sandy Roberts nuclear weapon that faces to kill.
You are a worry.
I would not want to be on the Wrath of Sandy. It is like the Star Trek Wrath of Khan, but it's the Wrath of Sandy. She would be on the warpath. I would not want to be on the... Can you imagine Chris pissing Sandy off? Holy shit bags. That man would be in a world of pain. He would get the death stare from hell and then sleep on the couch.
I could see Sandy giving a death stare. Any Australian woman can give a death stare.
Yeah. She's a really, like, that's like all women, Australian women. They're really nice. You piss them off and, oh, did you kick a hornet's nest? Holy shit. Oh boy. Yeah. I mentioned that I'd love to hear Chris say how many times he slips on the couch. He's probably learned exactly where to tread, like a minefield, exactly. Anyway,
I just think it's part of relationships is you learn how your partner operates and thinks and does things, and so
that's it.
And every relationship takes time.
Oh, it does, absolutely.
So, yeah. First time chat. On Twitch, MJH430 says, I thought Squadron 42 stopped being offered as market started limiting the time you could pre-order things.
No, we just asked Sandy straight up, and that's what she said. You didn't get anything for it. So it just felt shit. And she's not wrong. It does feel shit to buy something and get an... Well, how many years did people joke about, you know, $5,000 spaceship of a Javelin and you get a JPEG?
Yep.
You know, so...
Yeah.
He's not wrong.
And are there laws tightening that? Yeah, maybe. But Sandy's view was, no, you're not getting anything for it. No, take it off the market. And, you know, we thought, why did Squadron 42 disappear from the game packs? And Sandy, Sandy looked as if we were, what do you mean? It's not out. You're not getting anything. It was that weird kind of, yeah. Anyway, next question. Freakerist has a question. Freakerist question is, what's up with hangers in game packs? Do they still have a purpose? Because some of CIG's own giveaway ships don't have them.
I think eventually, you correct me if you think I'm wrong here, Algared, I think eventually certain landing zones will have certain hangars that are essentially rentable, purchasable in their locations. So much like you have high tech, medium tech, and low tech, ironically, that's what the three hangars are they not?
Yep.
High, medium, and low. So if you're at Earth and you've got like Origin and Origin and RSI, then you can probably get a Revel in York. And you can probably get a Safe Land as well. But if you're out in Pyro, you can probably only get the Safe Land. So I think the more the area you're in will dictate what you can get.
Yep. There was talk at one time that the hangars indicated what hangar type you could get access to with your home hangar or whatever. But I don't think CIG really knows where they're going with the hangars. It was something they realized they had ship must have hangar to put it in, so they had the.
I think it's also a priority order thing. It's not.
Yep.
Like, does it really add to the gameplay at the moment? Not really. But again, you get to somewhere like Earth or even ArcCorp, right? You can see that they might even have special hangar areas. Like, here's the Revel in York hangar landing zone area. Yep. Here's the Safe Land area, or are they all mixed in? Who knows? I'll figure it out eventually. But they also talked about having living homes, didn't they? And that's all expanded and changed. And if you have your own home area, does that also include hangar?
Well, here's a thought for you. You're on Hurston. You get your self-land hangar, the El Cheapo dirt cheap hangar. And it's out in the sticks. It's out on the edge of a city. It's out where the rebels are. It's high crime. It's dangerous. You're likely to get mugged or whatever. But you go into the Revel and York section. That's in the tower.
Yep.
That's high security. It's safer. It's nicer. It's cleaner.
Guess where old man?
Air filtration.
Guess which hang old man Hurston's got. Anyway.
You know, so it's all of that type of stuff. It costs you more, but it's so I could see it tying into a way in which the planetary systems work. You know, same on ArcCorp, same on Microtech, same on Orison. You'll get the same type of setup. So yeah,
it's just a little bit cut for the horse because again, you got to connect some few dots, but you can kind of see how it's going to pan out. But it can go a few different ways, and there might be tiers to it as well, as in tier 0, tier 1, tier 2, 3, you know. So you can see the plans that they have there for things, the hopes and dreams and on where they want it to go. But I did have something else confirmed last night by a friend of ours, by the way, that works at CIG. You know that episode you and I did on the room system all those years ago?
Yep.
It's all true. The whole thing, everything is interconnected. They're all just different room containers. So a ship is a container, an asteroid is a container. It's just all interconnected because it now simplifies everything all the way through.
Yeah, it was a no-brainer. The second they started talking about rooms and boxes and socks, streamable
object container streams is, yep, I know what you mean.
Yep. That thing. The container system, it was just a box for a system, a star system, box for a planet, box for a
and you can obviously see why base builders are going to come in first. Like it all just clicks now. Everything makes sense. You know, once you've got, because now you can essentially just have, I want to make something medical gameplay wise. Well, now I can make a ship, a building, a vehicle, blah blah blah. It's all interconnected. I don't have to change through systems. It's just flicking certain switches and it's a room or it's a ship. Yeah. Allow them to rapidly prototype like crazy. Yeah. Interesting.
Yep. No, 100%. Citizen Ninja.
Yep.
This is for UX.
All right. What do I do?
This is going into that territory that's nasty and horrible.
Oh, right. Is it what I think it is that I said would come up?
The big red bulbous thing near your head, what is it?
Oh, it's my microphone.
Well, that's his microphone.
There you go.
But then the other question is, what's with the collar?
It's a dog collar.
And Execute's just a very, very naughty boy. And we'll just leave it there.
And I used exactly what you think I use it for.
He's a very, very naughty boy.
Came back with me from the Philippines. It's been there twice. Anyway, I'll leave it at that.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Next question.
Yes,
more trouble.
I do like Piss Poor Pete's comment. That big bulbous thing is your face.
Oh, right.
So yes, it's the Aurora Mark II. This is from GTB 5001. Sorry, 50,001. Says, is the Aurora Mark II the first time we have seen a module adding a component to a ship? And if so, does this open up other ships to have similar functionality? Yes, it is.
And I think game. And Algared actually brought that idea up to John and Ben when we were talking about the Gladiator. And I don't know if he gave him the idea or what, but they already had the idea. But it was just really interesting to hear Algared talk about it, and then literally 18 to 2 months later, 2 years later, boom, there it is. But it just shows you can do that now, and that's really cool.
Yeah, and it was one of the things that we talked about the Gladiator, you know, being having drop pods for cargo and having bomb bays, and as well as the Miserac, the torpedo bay, because in law that's what it does. It's supposed to be a modular ship, and the whole discussion was, do we make it modular or do we make it a variant?
And he basically talked about how you don't need as much space for the bombs, and Algared said, well, what if you can put an extra component in there? So imagine an extra shield, because you've got to go in closer to combat, so you're going to get shot more. You know? So I can totally see other variants coming down the pipe now, for sure. Absolutely.
So So yeah, it would be nice to do that, and that only came out because we had talked about where you do variants as well, but or what you do with the module, but it was that whole: do we do modules? Do we do variants? How do we do modules? What's going to work better? And it wasn't like from Ben and John. I didn't hear them talking modules and variants in terms of marketing and selling ships. It was all what's easier for us to do. How does the tooling work? What works? And the example, the classic example was that Gladiator. We've got this massive bomb bay. We put bombs in. If we put 4 bombs in or 6 bombs in, and it's this tiny little area, and you've got this massive wasted space. What do you do with that space? And it was that whole discussion of how do we make our assets work.
What about like the other thing was like how you and I went and looked at the Redeemer as an example, going back to that and that being modular. And you, for example, one variant has extra shields, so it's got so maybe 2 of the shields get moved down to that variant, and then they're taken away for the other variant because they're not needed. But then that adds a different component, like maybe it adds an extra power plant because so you can start to see really quickly the variety and the balance it can now give as a tool that CIG can use in their arsenal. And that's also what led me back to things like the Mustang and actually putting a different component in the Mustang Amiga, because like the thought process you and I had been through. It definitely gives them so much flexibility now in how they can not just create, but also balance the game, which is really interesting.
Indeed.
Yes, the Vanguard is modular, so that is a really good example. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you could have, an E-Warfare module, but maybe it's got an extra shield or extra resistances because it's an E-Warfare ship. The torpedo variant might get less guns but more power because it needs it for the torpedo or whatever. You can see where it's going to go.
But I think that ties in very closely with what they're doing, because you'll remember the Bucks disappeared for a while because they were just too hard to implement. And I think that modularity aspect and being able to put those other systems in
would allow them
actually goes back to the Bucks being able to be a thing. And the fact that they never
they don't even need
Bucks.
They don't even need to be a buck. They can just now be a part of the module, as in the modular piece that swaps in and out. Yeah, absolutely. And then you just make it so that module contains a component. And you just say,
and it's interesting.
You get an extra shield, like they literally with what they did in the Mark II sales page.
Yep, and it's interesting that the Bucks, they never, you bought the Buck, it was that module you were kind of buying with the other things, but they never really unsold those. So you could cash them in, but if you had them and you've still got them, it means they've got to deal with them. And I think this opens up the door for them to be able to deal with it quite nicely. So yes, it opens up the door to doing more ships with similar functionality. Yes, it's a thing they've always done. Yes, it's the first ship in-game where we've actually got that. So it's yes, pretty much to all of those questions I think you were asking. Long Wall Crawler, or Long Waller Crawler, says, question, will the Prospector and the Freelancer series get the Gold Pass at the same time, and when do we have any timeline given?
I don't think the Prospectors really needs anything, to be honest with you. It's kind of at a really good state right now. The Freelancer is more dire because it was a ship that was designed as a 4-person ship, but realistically all the medium ships are 2-player really, and some of them 3, right? Like the Zeus is 3. So at best, it needs to be dropped. I personally think it needs to be dropped back to 2. The only variant that really needs 3 is the Misery or the Miss. And again, you could just put a bed in a different area of the ship to accommodate that person. So really, that front end needs to be reconfigured for 2 people, which would take out and make a whole bunch of extra space in that ship. And then also the 4 seats obviously needs to be lowered to 2. So you run it all through. It's not as dire because you're removing things and then putting new things in its place. The outside of the ship's kind of fine. There's no real. Do you have any real issues, Algared? Not really. It's really just an internal problem with the Freelance. And as I said, I think you could fix it pretty quickly. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's just that it needs to be dropped from 4 to 2, except for the Miz. Right? And the Miz, as I said, you can just put a bed in the back, no problem, because someone's going to be in the back to load the missiles for the Miz, but then they need a bed to sleep. Problem solved. Right? And you just put an extra, maybe upgrade the carbon filter or a small. There's an extra component in the back for a carbon filter for that person or something like that. Whatever, you know. So that's all you need. It's not major.
Yeah. But
Prospector, no, nothing wrong with it. Really works. It's not underground mining anymore, is it? It's just doing surface mining now. So.
Yep. And it really is. The short answer to the question: every ship will get a gold pass.
Mm. Yeah, that's true.
So,
that
do we have a timeline? No.
No. It's really, as I said, if you look at it from a Squadron 42 needs to release point, it is popularity and dire straits. It's those two things, and you can quickly see the ones that rise to the top. And obviously, the bigger a ship is, the more problematic it becomes. But really, all the problematic. That's why they never made a lot of those big ships that they concepted, because they knew they were going to have to come back and fix them. So look at the biggest standout, the biggest eyesore right now, Flamer. That is the biggest ship that needs help.
Yeah.
But there are other ships that can carry what it does.
Yeah.
And it functionally kind of works right now. It's not the best, right? I'll give you that. But what needs more love? Connie? Or what are more people going to use? The Connie or the Reclaimer? Well, it's clearly the Connie, right?
Yep.
And then the smaller ship becomes, like the Aurora, more people are going to use it, so the more important it becomes.
Yep. And look, Reclaimer ship, almost my go-to ship. If I'm not taking my Reclaimer, chances are I've got a Phoenix or an Andromeda. So, and they're my go-to ships. Connie, Reclaimer. So,
someone in chat asked a question, but they didn't put question in it. They said, "You believe the Merchantman will come out this year?" No, I think the Merchantman is tied to shops, and I think shops have to be after base building. And if base building's basically looking like it's aiming for the end of the year, I think it was the end of 2027. You and I worked out that thing would be coming out. Am I mistaken, or did I remember correctly? Right. Yeah. So you're probably going to end the next year for that one.
Yeah.
And you'll see some other shop ships come along at the same time. Won't just be the Merchantman.
And Sandgraper, if you do find the Dire Straits song that would tie in with that matches the topic, please post it. I'd love to hear it.
No, I would not be playing it because of copyright reasons.
No, I didn't say play it. I just want to know what one he'd say. Because I'd. But yes, if you do have a question, please put the word question in the question, and that way our bot does pick it up, and we eventually get to the question. We're now dealing with questions that were first posted around 8:45. But we do try to answer every question. So, the Wah has a question. The Wah one has a question.
So
the Ironclad. What's the Ironclad?
So for those of you that are not from Australia, Algared means an hour and a half ago.
Yeah. Sorry. Yes. For those, the Woo one has a question. With the Ironclad assault most likely coming in Invictus, do you see CIG adding onboard fabricators to other ships at that time as well?
They've already done it to the Clipper.
Yep. Clipper's already got a fabricator.
They've mentioned the Auxilia coming, which is a Clipper-like ground vehicle. They've also mentioned another vehicle, another ship coming.
Like a Clipper.
Like a Clipper.
A Generals.
A Generalist. But I think they implied that it was bigger.
Yep. And isn't there also the idea that if you've got a fabricator, you could put in the back of your ship and you'd be able to use it anyway because it's...
And that's already in game. And they said
that's already in game.
And in 4.8, we'll get the skin version of that we all got from that event. So, yes. Bring them integrated into ships is totally going to be a thing. The Forge is going to do it. The Pioneer is going to do it. I think we're in for a few ships that are going to be like that. Yeah.
Yep. Aaron Lenz 5002 says, we are starting to see the beginning of more ground missions and combat. What do you think CIG is missing at the moment to fill this loop out, and what pitfalls should they avoid?
I missed that.
Ground missions and combat. What do you think CIG is missing, and what do they need to fill out, and what should they try and avoid?
Look at Battlefield and everything in Battlefield and bring that over to Star Citizen. It's basically that. You know, you and I theorized shields. We had that proven. You got the turrets that are there. Look at all the ground vehicles like tanks, jeeps. You know, are they going to bring in mines?
Vehicles with AA and other stuff. And yeah,
we've had
all of that stuff.
We've had mortars talked about in the sale page for the Storm. We don't have a mortar. Everything you can see in a Battlefield kind of space game, in any of those space games that we've seen over these, what's that one by Sony? I can't think of the name right now. Planet Side. I think it was Planet Side. You know, something like that. You know, any of those games, bring that over Star Citizen, because Algared's got his base, he's got his shield there, his little nest egg. I want to go attack it, you know, and come in with an A2 and bomb it. You can see it being, you know, from outer space to atmosphere to planet. You can see that progression, and having a full armada attack onto a planet sounds insanely awesome. Org versus org. You can see the gameplay, can you? I really like it. All these things being brought to bear, and these big teams trying to work on it. And then it goes a step further too, because you've also got boats. We've got water. We've got underwater to go as well. You know, I would say that that's not priority, let's be honest, but they've talked about it. So you can start to see all the pieces coming together, and where it's going to go. So yeah.
Nova A42 says, or Nova 42 says, Connie rework versus Mark II or both. And I think we talked about it with Grim.
Yeah.
I hope it's more just a rework, an update, pushing more. I personally would love to see pushing more to that Apollo styling, but I could also see something going more that Mark II Dorito style, breaking out in it. So
we'll see.
I'm torn.
Well, it's not about being torn. I think they just need to support the people that supported them. I'll just keep coming back to that. You know, I think that's what they need to do.
Yeah, I'd like to see both, and that's why I'm torn. Longwaller Crawler says the big question with the Caterpillar doors finally get their elevator function. I thought they do have their elevator function.
I think he kind of means the Caterpillar being fully functional, so they open, they come down. And I'll be honest with you, I think the Caterpillar's another Mark II treatment. I really, 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 really do. Like, really, really, really do. And if you look at the stylings, a lot of the Drake ships are moving away from what the Caterpillar was. You don't see as many garbage bags on the walls. They're moving more to an industrial look, kind of like what the wait till you see the Ironclad come out. And then you take that and go back to the Caterpillar. Mark II treatment. I'm just telling you right now. And again, same thing. I held on to a rare Drake Caterpillar pirate skin. And if you don't make that work on the new Caterpillar, I'm going to fucking roast the fuck out of them. I'm going to... all the shit I went through to get that ship.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's because I've got a voice. I can't imagine how many of the other people out there that don't have a voice and they're frustrated by it. And yeah, it is a dwindling percentage of people. You know, what are us original? What they call us original backers and Kickstarter backers and original veterans or something like that is what we were called. Yeah, we probably make up first 100,000 people or 200,000 people. But if it wasn't for those, none of the others would have come after. It's just that simple.
Indeed. Yep. Yeah. Well, look, it's the same as the original Wales, the people who bought the Completionist and the Wing Commander packs. Yep. At one point, there were 100 odd of those, and they accounted for like 5% of the funding. Yep. That's it. Back then, that was a crap ton of funding that actually made the development work, gave them the funds they needed to get to that point. You know, so yeah, same thing. I lost my voice earlier on in the week, but it is coming back slowly. So
The more I use it, the more it seems to warm up and get better. I should be fine by next week. But if you believe it or not, last week's show, you'll notice I didn't talk a lot towards the last hour. That's because I was starting to lose it. And then
he was like this at the end of the show when we were talking.
And then when we did the episode of that week, it was not good.
Well, we were going to do an episode again, and it was like, man, my voice. Yeah, and I just said,
I wouldn't have been
you're dead.
I wouldn't have been able to do it. Oh yeah.
So, yeah.
Anyway,
Bowler 9999 says, recurring.
Hey, look,
what version of a Genesis would
hang
you
on.
like?
Sorry to interrupt. Someone just said, unfortunately, I don't think they care anymore. They do care. You just have to make them aware of it. It's kind of like working on something and not seeing the bigger picture. Sometimes when you make them stand back, that's why Sandy sees things that the others don't, because she's not a traditional gamer like the rest of them. So she'll see things from a more normal perspective. And so she might pick up on it before someone else. She may see this, someone else may see this and bring it to her attention. Someone at CIG, it's not just us that'll talk about it, but there'll be other people, the content creators, talk about things too. They're not blind. They look at a lot of things. You'll be surprised.
Yeah. Like you'll remember when we did the video with Sandy, the interview with Sandy, and we're talking about how things started. And Sandy was saying, she was talking about customer service, and she says, oh, why don't you do this? And they said, oh, because it's never been done. That's how you do it in gaming. And she said, that's crap. You can't do that. And so she actually had them change the system for customer service because what was offered in game development and games was not customer service. And she really G'd that up to raise that standard of service. And those people who were here back then know what we're talking about. It was a breath of fresh air. You felt like you were someone who was important to them, not someone who, we got your money, thank you, goodbye.
Yeah.
It really was that sense. You know, things like CCUs were brought in for people who had game packs originally, so they could actually modify their packs on the fly.
Yeah,
that was that was part of the whole idea of it. And then it was, okay, you've got a game pack for a single ship, you want to upgrade it. It was again saving you a problem, melting my ship, buying it back, and all the rigmarole that went with that. But it was part of that customer service process, which other games just didn't do. So yeah,
Kickstarter only raised $6 million, right? And I say only because of where we're at now. If it wasn't for that $6 million, we wouldn't hit 20, we wouldn't hit $1 million.
Not true.
It's all cause and effect.
It's all interconnected.
Yeah.
And what was Kickstarter for? It was to show to EA that there was actually demand for a PC game, a PC space simulator game, because they were saying, no, there's no demand. And then as they kept moving the goals, it was again someone who keeps popping up today, Sandy, who said, why don't you just do it yourself? You don't need them. Ask your backers to back you for what you're trying to do.
We really owe Sandy a lot. Like a lot.
Sandy changed the face. I reckon Sandy changed the face of gaming.
Sandy made buying ships one of the most profitable things. Right? They were going to sell the ships, but like the little things she brought in and the customer service, and the changes and all that, the way things were marketed, and instrumental.
Yeah.
This game would not be what it is now without Sandy.
Like I know, I'm just mulling this thought over as we're talking. People have often said, why was Star Citizen's Kickstarter program and everything else so successful? Why were they able to do that? And I think ultimately it comes down to Sandy. She was outside the game developer mold.
Yep.
And gave it a new spin.
Yep. Agreed.
And just made it work.
Yep.
It's Sandy that made it successful, not, and the fact that the game was good just then built it out. So anyway, that's me
gushing.
Waxing lyrical. Gushing, yes. Gushing. So yeah. Anyway, next question. Bowler's question was, what would we see for a Genesis Starliner? Would you like to see released a hunter killer ship, a troop transport, an AWACS, or just a standard Starliner?
Oh, what version? So it means what variant?
Yep. I think modular and all of the above.
I think it's kind of if they, this is a tough one, right? Because I think what's clearly happened with the Genesis is it's been pulled out into other ships. Yep. So you've seen it kind of pulled out into the E1. You've seen it pulled out into the C1.
The C1s and
the bomber variants and stuff like that. I think what it's going to sadly become is the domestic airline ship.
Yeah.
Or personal transporter for economy.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if when you want to, and you can see it in these star bases at the moment and star ports at the moment, you go and there's that inter-system transport. You know, that's the type of ship you'd board on if you want to go fly to a different system. Just because you want to get there quick, and it'll.
And I think the only other variant that I can really think of is one they do talk about when they sold it, which was a military variant for maybe a bit more armored to transport the troops, and then maybe you could have lower deck that's got a couple of vehicles for the troops or something like that. But that'll be about it, right? I don't really, because by the same token, isn't that just an M2?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you really just need the troop transport aspect. You don't really need the vehicle transport aspect, because then again, you're taking away from the M2, the Liberator, stuff like that. So really you just needed, you know, an armored troop transporter and a civilian transporter. And I think sadly that's all it's become, because it's been fed out to other things. And we've seen that happen. Caterpillar to Galaxy, I think that's happened a bit as well.
Yeah.
Unless you want to add to that,
Algared. Caterpillar to Ironclad.
Yep, exactly. Agreed. I can't disagree. Yep.
You know, so so I think the only ship.
I think the Genesis is up for a reconcept. It is like, if you can't look at how styles developed, I think the Genesis is such an old style now that Crusader wouldn't make that. Right? It's got such an old style to it that it's completely different to any of the other C1 ships out there. Now they could leave it as that old style if they want, but I just think that it's all. I believe it was from where the metrics came from too, so it might also need to be redone because of metrics. I'd have to go back and check that, but it was a pretty old ship, wasn't it?
It's pretty old. It's a very old.
I think
ship.
It's around the same time period as the Endeavour and things like that. So I'd have to go have a look.
And that's the difference between the Genesis and even though they're I think they're the same company as the Endeavour, even though the Genesis Starliner and the Endeavour are both very early ships. The difference between them is, even though they said
they're different manufacturers, one's MISC, one's
different manufacturers.
Crusader.
Origin.
Crusader. That's what I mean.
That's right. Crusader is the Starliner.
Yep. You got it.
So, but even though they brought them out early, the Starliner, they said these are the variants that could be, but they never sold the variants, and so they're only beholden to do the Starliner.
But you can see the things they talked about in that concepting, can't you, in other ships like the Hercules?
Yeah. Whereas the Endeavour, they sold the modules that they wanted to be able to do, so they're kind of stuck. With having to do that, and so I think that's the big difference with. And they probably the variants they looked at
after doing the Endeavour, and that's why the Genesis never actually got its modules.
Yep, and I wouldn't be surprised to see the small ships. We see modules on the smaller ships, but we see the larger ships have more, maybe not as modular, but be more set. So not galaxies, but javelins and. But who knows? Who knows? The Javelin's still supposed to have 6 rooms that are modular, so yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they go.
Hold on. I got to do a couple of things before you move on. So someone said they'd forgotten what it looks like. This is some of the images of it. As you can see, it doesn't really fit, Crusader much anymore. It was the first, even the engines look a little bit different, because a lot of the engines now are usually the same size. That's more MISC engines, if anything.
Yeah.
Right? And yeah,
but it was your Starliner.
Yeah. So I almost, you could almost see it like an economic-based cruise ship, as instead of a VIP cruise ship. There's some ties between this and the 890 Chump. I think a little bit.
I was about to say, I could see this being a Crusader version of the A90 jump.
Yeah. So instead of VIP, it's, economic.
Yeah. But I could see it very much being a Crusader version of the 890 jump.
And I've always expected it to be the ship that kind of goes, because you go to the landing zones and they'll have I think they call it intergalactic and domestic. And I'd always see this the ship that takes people around the planet, but also takes them to, you know, you can fly across from Hurston to Microtech or whatever if you don't have your own ship. This is the ship I see doing that.
Yep. NPCs. This is the ship I'd see flying around. Even just NPCs, just not even taking people, just flying around doing those delivery missions. But well,
it's still got its place. It's just I think it's really been taken back to troop personal transport, and there's a need for that, and an iconic ship. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
and that's I don't think it needs to be anything else. Personally.
And the only other thing about this ship that stands out as iconic is in the EU, there's one of these kitted out, or a couple of these kitted out as the Air Force One type thing for the president.
Absolutely.
Or the Imperator. So
same thing. I'm just sitting here thinking, if you've got all those civilians that are being transported, they're going to have their own bags for the cargo, right? Well, wouldn't the troops just have cargo, but it could also be vehicles? So maybe you can do the vehicles for the troop version. But as I said, it's just so close to the M2. It just is going to feel like a bigger M2. We'll see what happens. Yep. But yeah, definitely the personal transport. We'll see what else comes out of that. Algared, we probably need to do a giveaway. We're meant to do it at 10. It's now 10:30.
Well, 10 was when we stopped taking numbers, but was the idea.
So I'm going to do a refresh.
And see who's in and who's gone.
I'm going to do a scroll all the way to the bottom. Sure, we get everyone in. All right, it stopped. And we've got 79. So I'm going to do... give me a number... 1, 2...
79.
79. Bang. Thinking 42. Well, that number sounds 42. Appropriate.
Oh, that's appropriate.
I'm just going to go back while I count 42 down. No, you do
lift music while we do it.
You do a question while I learn to count.
All right. I say it's a long waller crawler says if we go at the Squadron 42, so if we get to go to Squadron 42 before we get to enter the verse and beat Squadron 42. When we enter verse, will there be a special place we go to first, like Terra, military graduate, graduate out of military or whatever, or then get the hangar and stuff like that? Possible. They have talked about. We do know that the events of Squadron 42 happened a while ago. So those who know when the assault on Vega 2. Or on Vega happened, the Battle of Vega. Back in the day, I think in real world it was 2015, I think. That's when the battle takes place. That's where we start the game. And after the events, we're decommissioned, we're released from the military, and we start our world. Will there be a paying out ceremony? Don't know. Will there be other stuff? Don't know. Will we get perks? Yeah. If you complete the mission, I believe it gives you access to certain things. But don't know. Who looks like they're struggling?
The
Woo one. Here's the big question. What's the origin ship mentioned by Disco coming out between now and May? Got to be one of those ships in progress, yeah?
Okay.
Yeah. More toes and fingers than Execute's got, yeah.
Okay, so the winner that we have here is Individ OORM. Individum. Individum. they said in the dividend. The process that ended in escape pods was quite plausible. So again, he got it correct. He did say escape pods like he needed to, and he was subscribed. So he's in. I don't know if he's here. One, the Aurora
Mark II.
Mark II. Thanks to CAG. Please reach out to me via Discord so we can get that sent off to you. Now, is he in chat at all? Algared, do you see him in chat?
I can't see him in chat.
All right.
If you're in chat, send us a message.
Because you'll get a skin as well.
Because we'll give you a skin, but if you don't mention you're in chat at the moment, we'll say you're not here and you won't get the skin.
And if I haven't heard from him by this time next week, we'll give it away again.
Do it again.
We'll do it again.
And we'll keep doing that until one of you actually contacts us and says, yes, it was me, it was me.
Yeah. So
it's got to have been you. Don't just send messages saying it was me, because that would not be cool. Execute would love that, I'm sure.
All right, so again, Kratz 2 in that's such a weird word. Invididum. Does not roll off the tongue. Yes. Right.
Some of the people are saying, because I was doing a banana boat, banana boat. Sorry.
Because he's an animal.
Yep. Anyone who knows Muppets should know that one. That's actually what I was referring to, animal, by the way.
He's an entertaining animal, yes.
Right. Spike 6K says, why has my Valk got A1A on the back? Also seen on other ships. Your guess is as good as ours.
Just numbers they've used. Eventually, they'll probably be changeable to some kind of number of your ship or something like that. It's just
once they change the ships and modify them and give them gold passes and all that stuff, we'll see proper labeling.
I'll probably put a system in where the number of your ship appears there or something like that. Yeah, they just don't have all the tools in yet.
Ash, you mentioned CCU free or cheap to existing owners, but what do I do to Mark II like the Aurora? Where it is a base and you need to buy modules to get the other variants. You buy the modules.
Yeah.
Like, duh.
Again, Aurora LN is $45 with a package. You can get a Mark II for $45 with a package, but no modules. So again, that's how they make the money. You have to buy the modules.
And can you use the Aurora Mark II without any of those modules? Absolutely. You've got 2 SU cargo, actually 2.5 SU of cargo, so you've got those 2 quarter boxes inside. You've got weapons, you've got everything else. By the module, you increase the cargo capacity, or you increase your weapons, or you increase your shielding, or you increase your... So, no, you just buy the modules. How do you make... we've done that, because that's that publicly subscribed type questions.
Yeah, we did that one.
We did that one. Looks like I'm a public... Thank you. Aaron Lentz, 5002 says, I know you hate ground vehicles, but what is the one type class of family of ground type vehicle that Sergey is missing overlooked?
There's a heap.
Artillery.
There's mortars, artillery, a whole bunch of military ones. We got the MFD coming as well, which is the what is it? MTC, so it would have been MFD coming, which is a ground fabricator. Any new gameplay that comes in, repair. Where's my fucking repair vehicle?
Where's my ground mining vehicle?
Where's my science? Where's my science vehicle? Like any new gameplay that comes in, there'll be a vehicle to go with it. This is what we're saying, why you need the base building in, because you're also going to have a buildings now. So it's almost 3-tiered: vehicles, buildings, and ships. And so you can kind of see why they want to get that third one in, because if you bring out new gameplay, cooking, you bring out cooking.
And we know that's going to be needed because we've got the 890.
Yeah. Well, you're obfuscating the point, right? You're bringing out cooking. Why would they want to have to go back and make it for buildings when they can just make it so it's all the same system, and then basically they bring it out and it just works automatically on all three? Well, that's what they're setting up, and that's why you need base building, because then you can just bring out any new gameplay and it just instantly. You can actually prototype it quicker in a building too, because you don't need an outer shell for a building, and it's the same every single building. And
of course, it goes back to the room system.
Yep.
You get it working in that room, then I just take that room, put it into a ship, put it into a space station,
chuck it into a tech preview build, and bang, you've got Evocati testing cooking. They don't need a whole ship to do it anymore. They don't need a vehicle to do it anymore. They can just do it in a building, and you can chuck in a kitchen, and they're off to the races, and they're testing what cooking is like. Yep. You can see it's just going to allow them to iterate at such a speed that it's going to speed up how they do everything.
Yep. And it's just then when they're putting in building ships, it's just what size building can I put those components or bits and pieces.
Rabbit, I don't agree. I don't disagree with you. I want to see a bike with a sidecar. 100% want that to be a thing. In fact, I want there to be one with a turret, so the person in the sidecar shoots a turret. I reckon they're really cool.
He wants his World War II motorcycle sidecar with machine gun. Yeah.
Excuse me.
Mandy Bree. I'm sure it's probably been mentioned, but do you think the Mark II variants are going to be the way forward instead of a new variant of a current chassis?
I think it's just a way to fix older ships.
Yep, it certainly saves time.
Yeah, my biggest problem is what it does to players. That's my biggest concern. We'll see what happens.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
At the end of the day, it is better for the game, but you've got to think of the people that supported you, and sometimes that shit just gets lost. Anyway.
Yep. And that's a hard thing to
out of sight, out of mind, isn't it? One of those things. If you don't see the players every day, you kind of forget about them.
Yep. Sunboy3113 says, but if they keep the sunsetted chips in game, how do they make them work with modern systems like Fire's engineering, since their explanation for needing the Mark II was it was too difficult to add it to the Mark I? My understanding is basically everything in those ships is still supported and functioning in game. They just don't want to be maintaining and developing those ships. They want to say, no, they're sunsetted, they're old, bring in the new ones. And I don't think it means they're gone forever. It means
the problem more likely maintained as they are. They're not going to add new features. They'll just keep them so they work. You can earn them in game, but they're going to be limited in the functionality that they have because they're old.
Yep. And that's fine.
Yep.
So, Soundboy3113 says, that's okay. Don't worry about your duplicate. Tricorder1 says, for Algared, been a while since I've been on the Reclaimer. Did they fix the cargo grid to make it better for salvaged components, guns, etc.?
Not
yes
really.
And no.
Not really.
The cargo grid, the cargo area, you can fit 32 SU containers in there, but they're not on a grid. The top, you can put components in, you can stack them, but only to a certain point. Same with weapons, and you're better using the salvage deck than the cargo deck because it works better. So it's still got lots of problems, but I still enjoy taking it for that type of work.
Soundboy, we'll just go over it for you really again. He got ads right in the middle of the question we were answering for him. Long story short, they're going to be sunsetting some ships, but realistically, they're going to kind of stay where they are. They're not going to add new functionality to them. It's kind of like what happens in the real world when something is superseded. They get new things. Sometimes they get updates, but the old one won't. It'll just kind of stay where it is. It'll be maintained and playable as it is, but it's just not going to get new things. And the same thing will happen when a Mark III comes out, no doubt. I guarantee you at some point there'll be a Mark III.
At some point, there'll be a Mark III. Well, the Connie's at Mark 4 or 5 at the moment, so we just don't see them.
Yeah.
Older people remember the original Connie layout and look. But yeah. Next question is tricorder.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. Rabbito7 says, Cutlass Mark II with modular chassis. Think we'll see that soon? One of the older ships.
The Cutlass has been redone multiple times. It's at a much higher standard than any of the other ships from the original 5. I would say no. I think the Cutlass has been in a great place for a really long time.
Look. There was a time when it was a wallowing fat sour and it was crap. And I actually feel for the people who went, I wanted the fighter and they took the ditch. They got rid of their Cutlass and went to the Buccaneer. Because when they then reworked the Cutlass was bloody beautiful.
Same token though, Algared, you would agree at some point down the line, 3, 5, 7 years from now, Mark II, 100%.
And I could see them, could see them taking the modular line with that.
Agreed.
Rather than doing the variants, because it just makes sense.
Absolutely.
And I think a lot of the variants were products of their time. The idea was these are the variants were. This is what you can actually make your ship into. But we just went, I'll buy it all. I'll buy it now. But that was the idea. And then it was part of a problem of, we're aiming for this to be the stuff, but we can't do it at the moment. So they just bring out the modules. The MPUV is a classic example. We've got variants of the MPUV, but we don't have modules. But MPUV, the name modular is in the actual name.
Yep.
So that tells you it's going to get modules. That'll get a rework.
I think a lot of those ships, like we mentioned today, are all going to come back and be done. And they obviously need to be done on things going forward, like the Caterpillar and Endeavour as well. And not to mention all the new ones that are going to spring up because of it.
No, indeed. Hebedford says, I believe it will be boats early, like the Squad 42.
So I think what he's trying to talk about is there is a boat in Squadron 42.
Yep.
And because of that, he reckons he'll bring that over into Star Citizen. Not necessarily, because it's not a one-to-one correlation. You're talking about a single-player engine versus a multiplayer engine with networking code. But yes, they would start there and bring that over.
It's the type of stuff we'll see.
It's a gameplay necessity. I think you'll see boats on the surface before you see boats under or things under.
100%.
I'd expect to see something like a combat boat or a cargo boat would be the first two I'd expect. Like, I'm not expecting, like, eventually you'll probably get like a firefighter or a hospital ship. What's the need? Right. And I think realistically, you're crossing the water. Combat and cargo would probably be the main two. I think
the only reason I could see needing boats and cargo boats on the water is if you've got a mining rig platform out on the water. So you're bring it that way. And then the question is, why aren't I using a ship to do that?
I can see a really big reason. Algared had a really good night on the 890 jump, and now I've got to go fish him out of the fucking lake. That's the big need.
Yeah, well, interestingly, people do land their Idrises in the water at the moment.
If your 890 jump is not called the Entertainer, you and I are going to have words. But
no, it's what my 890 jump is called.
Yeah, I know
it's the gun.
Yeah, I know. It'd be called the Entertainer. The entertaining room or something like that. Anyway.
Long Water Crawler says, once again, releases to 1.0. Do you think they'll sell it to big competition like Blizzard or the bigger players so Chris and Sandy can retire because at some point he built everything he wanted, let him move on?
I don't think he would do that. I think he's taken so long to get to the game he always wanted to build. He would not want to palm that off to the likes of Electronic Arts and all those that fucked him along the way.
No.
I think he would be far more likely to pass it down to someone that had been working under him and make it a legacy that goes beyond him.
Yeah.
That's just kind of where I'm at. You know, he'll get to 60, 70 and retire.
Yeah.
And just hand it down. Like he'll step back from the company, but he'll still come in, you know, once a month and see what everyone's doing, you know.
Can you see Chris not taking an interest in the game? Like, look
you know. He might even just step back into a smaller role. I don't want to be CEO anymore. I just want to be a little coder and a little bit of design stuff. I see that happening before him completely stepping away. I think he steps down from CEO and just becomes more of the game guy and less of the company guy, you know. And I think it'll happen in steps. I don't think it'll be just like off of the knees and he's gone, unless he gets hit by a bus. Let's hope that never happens. But you get my point, right? He would gradually want to step down and away. And even then, as I said, I think he'll turn up and
just to feed onto that idea of why you don't, you know, the types of things that make you say, no, I wouldn't do that, that he wouldn't just sell it off. Look at him at Movie Sports in Sydney. He spent probably 40 minutes just deliberately walking the floor, popping his head into every single cubicle where people were and just saying hi.
Yep.
Didn't need to do. It wasn't something he was needed to do. It wasn't something people expected him to do. But hey, I want to check out this venue, but I also want to.
Well, it also tells you
meet and greet without meeting and greeting.
It also tells you a little bit about Australians, because we don't have that celebrity thing that they have in the Northern Hemisphere, and they knew they could walk around and weren't going to get swarmed. Because you'd never see them do that in the UK. You'd never see them do in the USA, but you can do it here because we don't.
What did we see them doing at Manchester?
Yeah, they were.
You know, Brian Chambers was a classic one. Looks at the front door where everyone was, goes down the side door. you know, it was that type of thing. So
but I don't know what it is with the culture up there with celebrityism, but down here, like we have, I always remember that, what was that supermodel, Megan someone, and she used to go to Italy as an example, and she used to have bodyguards and like an entourage of cars because men would just hound the fuck out of her. She'd come home and people were like, oh, Megan Gale was the name, and people would just go, oh, hey, Megan. And they'd never met her before in the streets. It was like, oh, it's just a acknowledgement. Hey, love your work. Keep going. You know, because that's just how we are here. We just treat everyone like people. We don't have this.
Yeah. It's the same with a lot of celebrities.
I'm sure there'd be the odd one to go, I'm your biggest fan or whatever. Can I get an autograph? And she'd sign it and then move on. But she doesn't get swarmed like I don't know what it is in the over there. They've just got this thing. Anyway.
Yeah. No, I fully get that. It's the same with I know a lot of movie stars. They'll come out and they'll say, "Oh, it was great. You know, went to the beach and wasn't attacked by thousands of people doing that." So yeah.
We've got one last question for today from Tricorder One.
No, we don't, because it's a question that he doubled.
Oh, is it?
It's the reclaimer question. Yeah, the reclaimer question.
All right.
Did they fix the cargo grids on the reclaimer? Not really, but you can still use it.
So that's it. We get to finish early.
9 minutes early.
9? I counted as 13 or.
Well, 10:51 according to my clock. So.
Oh yeah, true. 9. But we did start a little late.
True.
So it's the time the show's been running. Anyway, so me and Aaron got a couple episodes we could work on this weekend. We don't know which ones are going to come out there. I do need to look to see who I'm going to raid though, Algared. So let's go. Which. Browse. Does this? Loken.
Is there anyone we know?
Hero State.
Oh, look at those two bozos. Those two talking heads. Yeah, raid them.
We could go raid these people. These guys are all.
I reckon the first one in that second column. Those two bozos.
Yeah.
Yeah, those two. Yeah, raid them.
But we've got all these people that are doing group ones. No, anyone down here? Let's have a look.
No.
Anyone we know? No, I don't notice anyone. This is really difficult being an Australian. There's lots of other people. These guys are doing a lot of ones. There's a lot of collab ones going, which is interesting to see. Chris A. Nightingale and it's Cobra TV. So I could Oh, that'd be funny. I raid Chrissing Nightingale just to slap Cobra TV. I think that's funny. We should do that.
Okay.
We'll raid Chrissing and say, tell Cobra we said hi. That'd be funny. All right, Chrissy Nightingale is with Cobra TV, so they've been copy this.
Cobra, we say hi.
Yeah. Raid. All right. So we'll be listening in. Make sure you get her to say hello to Cobra. All right. With that, Twitch, have a good week. Twitch, say goodbye to YouTube. YouTube, say goodbye to Twitch. And they're away.
And they're gone.
Let's have a listen.
Friday ever. Oh, that's right. Duh.
It said added as a friend. Oh, there you go. Okay.
I said it like 5 times since I've been on.
Yeah, I know, but
Welcome in, Raiders!
I
Let's
didn't
go,
have any
let's
fish,
go, let's
so,
fucking
yeah.
go!
I mean,
Thank you so
chicken.
much for the raid! Thank
Chrissy, you see that?
81 viewers. Holy fucking
Person
shit!
with, like, the,
Holy fuck! Let's go!
Sounds like they're having a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so
It almost sounds like sorry, Paul.
Oh yeah, a little bit. Do you know what happened?
Inforunners, how you doing? Hope your stream was going good. I appreciate you so
Linda
much.
talk. That got demonetized because of that song. I had to mute it out of the video.
Got raided by Inforunners. Let's
Oh,
fucking go. Let's go.
man.
Yeah, it got demonetized, so I had to take it out. It's a pain in the butt. Anyway, we might even get demonetized for that. Like, I'm not kidding. So it just happens sometimes. YouTube's a lot more strict than the old Twitch is. So yeah. All right.
Yeah, we are done already. I'm sorry.
Yeah. All right. With that, then don't forget to. I wonder if my button's gonna work. It did. Like, subscribe, ring that notification bell.
Never fixed.
And thank you to everyone on the extra mile on Patreon at the end of the video. Yeah, it actually fixed, but there's now a new update. So again, it's
I
going to
didn't
break.
notice that.
Right.
Yeah, it's going to break again.
All right, with that
So
then,
thank you.
he's been Algared.
He's been executed, and we're out of here. Take care.
See you, citizens.